Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone watching from home. In the southern hemisphere, the snow is melting, the flowers are blooming, and in the northern hemisphere, the temperature is getting colder and the leaves are falling. It's that time of year again. It's OS World Cup season. We are back for the biggest tournament of the year and the only official OS tournament. I am very happy to be here. My name is Dio. I'm here for the very first stream, and I'm here specifically because two of the hardest working people among all of the staffers among the OS community have asked me and invited me to be on here. The map poolers for the OS World Cup this year have put in a ridiculous amount of work in getting everything ready for all of the players and you all watching from home, and I am here thanks to two of them this morning. Good morning, Shiv, and good morning, Dada.
Hello, everyone. What's up? Hope you guys enjoy the pool. It's been a long journey for us, but I hope everyone is excited.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
We've got fines aside, we have a pretty exciting map pool to go through. I think a lot of players are going to be pretty happy with this one, and I know the pooling team is pretty happy with how things have turned out as well. So I think without any further ado, we can probably get started with the very first map pool of the OS World Cup 2023.
All right. Well,
drum roll, please.
Drum roll, please. Our first map, Nomad 1, it's Green Lights Serenade by Omoe, a custom map by Kawari for the qualifiers round in the OWC 2023.
Do you want to spoil it for everyone that in qualifiers every map is a custom? Because it's been that way
now.
Yeah. It's been that way for the last 2 or 3 years, I think, so it's not going to change now.
Yeah, and not only is every map a custom, but every map is going to be a song from a featured artist in Osu. Hope people enjoy it as we move on to, Nomad 1, which is going to be our jump map, sitting at around 7 stars local. I think it's around like 7.1 or 7.2 laser. This map does not let up in any way.
Yeah, it's a fairly consistent, aimey map, what people expect from what you'd call Nomad 1. Still in qualifiers, we're having everything be pretty normal. We have a couple of surprises, but for the start of this pool, everything will be pretty much as expected. Kawari did a great job of mapping this, and he was ready and available to really pull or just map another Omoe song that I haven't seen in a while. You know, this is a great feature artist. Used to be very, very popular back in the middle of last decade, so 2015, 2016. We used to love Snow Drive and stuff like that, and it's just another banger.
This map has a lot of really fun to play aim patterns, and it's a lot of comfortable jumps, but it's also a lot of somewhat awkward patterns. You've got the streams that demand a lot of aim control. You've got a lot of linear jumps, some square jumps here and there, some wide angle jumps here and there, but they're all kind of spliced in among really comfortable aims. So it's not just the back and forth cross screen jumps like you see in a lot of farm maps, for example. This does have a little bit of aim control and a little bit of awkward aim to it, which I think is nice in a Nomad 1. It makes it so you can't just, brain dead fling the cursor across the screen.
Absolutely, and this is going to be one of the long maps in the pool, sitting at just a little under 4 minutes. Definitely the consistency pick in the map pool. And I think overall, map doesn't have too many trip-up sections. There's a bit of a 1/3 section coming up, but besides that, it's pretty standard for your aim map. Pretty just solid mapping overall.
1-3 in my Nomad 1? It's more likely than you think.
It plays pretty well, though. It plays very well.
Yeah. Also worth noting is that the replayer here is Nanoya. Nanoya is also in the playtesting team this year. So anybody that you see credited in these replays are sadly not on their respective countries' teams, but they're still very skilled, and we thank them a lot for helping us with all these showcases and giving a lot of input with the pools as well, with their playtesting. It's very nice.
Yeah, absolutely. There's like so many playtesters that really helped out and make this tournament work this year. So big shout out to them. Feel free to check them out on the forum post. And yeah.
How we feel. What else haven't we said about this?
Some jumps.
do we spoil the overall pool format, like the number of maps in each mod slot?
That's in the forum post. So
oh, is it already? Oh, okay,
yeah.
never mind. Yeah, four no mod, 2 hidden, 2 hard rock, 3 double time. I didn't know that was in the wiki, but yeah.
Who reads that? Let's be
Who
honest.
reads
that?
the wiki?
Anyways, yeah. That's number 1.
Actually, it's not quite no mod 1. There is a pattern after the spinner.
Yeah.
Wow, about that a little bit.
Gotta remember that. Okay, that's gonna bring us to No Mod 2. It's a stream map, Fraser Edwards Alone, mapped by Chemsite for the OWC 2023 qualifiers. I don't know, No Mod 1, No Mod 2 are pretty as expected for most tournaments. This one's a little bit more stamina heavy than I think might be expected in qualifiers, though.
Yeah, it's less of a space stream map like we had last year, and more of a very, very taxing stamina map. The BPM I think is a little bit higher, the stream length is a little bit higher, and the background is Dragon Force.
Yeah, if you compare it to last year, this map is definitely harder on the stamina side, which is what we wanted it to function as a map. Mainly just heavy stamina streams to cover some other aspects of the pool, which you will see later on. Not going to spoil anything just yet, but yeah, I think this map is pretty done well. Pretty enjoyable, and Chemsite did a great job mapping this.
Yeah,
Still
Flame
don't
on
know
this
how
is
to
all.
pronounce his name.
Yeah, no one knows how to pronounce his name. Flame is still really comfortable on this map, so the focus really is just all on stamina with this pick. If you're just not comfortable on 200 BPM death streams, you're not going to have a good time on this. Also, this is the same artist that sings "Stop Saying We Sound Like Dragon Force," in case you were wondering about the background.
It's a legendary song title. Also, did you know that this background has nothing to do with Dragon Force? Quick history lesson. This is just a random wallpaper Lesjo found in like 2011. And then,
Yep.
because he used it for one of the Dragon Force maps, and then for another one, he did Cry for Eternity, Through the Fire and Flames, Revolution Death Squad. He just used a recolor of it, so every background from Dragon Force maps has been the same since. It's kind of like a tradition. So, yeah. I wonder if the background artist will ever say like, "Oh, stop saying I draw Dragon Force."
Oh my god.
That'd actually be devastating. But yeah, as you guys always know, for any push showcase, it's only the first 2 maps of the pool, so can't really tell what's in store, so just hold tight as the rest of the pool is shown, because there's some really cool ideas, I think, that really separate this qualifier pool from the previous OWCs.
What's also curious about this song specifically is that you can see the last chorus repeats. It's repeated once thus far, and it's gonna do that a lot. So when you think this map is maybe a little bit easier, you're gonna reach this last like chorus section that's gonna repeat a lot, and you're gonna eventually realize that stamina isn't infinite. Hopefully.
This is
Or is
quite
it?
taxing. Dude, like, when I saw this as 6.6 stars, that was actually crazy. Like, it's like around 7 stars in laser, but like, this does not look like a 6.6 star map.
6.6 stars local. We love local star rating.
That's not bad too.
All right, we've had a couple mechanics maps so far. Let's get into some less straightforward tests of skill. No Mod 3 Kabocha featuring Senzai Morphobia, mapped by Artizen.
El Condor Passes brought us a replay for today. But this is a great art map by RTYZ, mainly meant to be a little snappy but a little bit of flow as well. Kind of just like a generic alt map. But he does it in his always traditional style. with a lot of reading elements, I feel. So it's really cool.
This is maybe you would call this like a traditional alt map, but for boomers like me, I think this is like modern tech mapping, or modern alt mapping, sorry, where it has like a lot of tech elements, a lot of like different spacing of the 1/4s, and it has a lot of cursor control, a lot more than you usually see from like traditional alt maps, like you'd say like the vowels and the PKKs of the world. So yeah, a lot of cursor control, not much rhythm, but a lot more like sliders as well, and not much real stoppage time.
Yeah, it felt like when I was playing this map, it felt like it was just full of slider streams. Obviously, watching it back, that's not the case, but they're so frequent in this map that it does kind of blend a little together, and you get this kind of mashup of, you know, mostly alt, but a lot of the, like you said, kind of modern tech elements also just mixed in there, kind of all over the place. So very different, I think, from what a lot of people kind of expect alt to be if you're going back a few years, but not too far out of the ordinary nowadays.
Also, yeah, not to get too inside baseball-y with these showcases, but Artisan, the mapper of this, had to come through in like a very short amount of notice, and he really like outdid himself. This is an amazing map, and he did it like very much of a short deadline. So please, if anybody can show some love for Artisan in the chat, it would be very appreciated. That guy's a legend.
My goats! But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Honestly, yeah, pretty standard, but I think the Nomad pool for qualifiers this year is pretty standard overall. So yeah, all this stuff gets a little more interesting. But in terms of skills and structure, I still think this map is really cool.
Also, it's the first miss in our showcase. I guess
this play is so terrible. Oh my god.
True. I think if he had hens instead of hooves, I think he would be better at this map.
Yeah.
Do you guys know hooves are actually just giant fingernails, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Fun fact about horses.
How do you know that?
Horse-related animals. I just know a lot of random
He
biology
loves
facts, man.
horses.
I'm the science guy.
Okay. Oh yeah, he has hooves. Now I get it. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah, good replay by my favorite horse, the Pro 365.
El Condor pasa.
You know, like the lore behind his name is like he lost like a role, and he just like changed his name, and then he started watching Uma Musume because of it. Like,
oh my god!
Now it's like unironic. Now he actually likes that show.
And now, like a month ago, he had somebody bring a Uma Musume figure over to
Oh,
Toronto.
don't even bring it up. Don't.
Oh
even bring
my
it up.
god! All right. We'll leave that.
It's terminal now.
It's terminal.
Oh,
it
for
really
sure.
is. Okay, that was the Nomad 3. Relatively standard Nomad pool once again, and so we go into the tech map in Nomad 4, Vespera by Zek, mapped by Down for the 2023 qualifiers of OWC.
Not often do you get a map that's in qualifiers, which is all featured artists. So the song is a featured artist, and it's mapped by a featured artist too. So yeah, Down making it happen as well. Everybody's familiar with Down. He's one of the probably most famous modern mappers around, especially for tech. And he comes through yet again with a very cool tech map for qualifiers, I think.
This is really like kind of unexpected for most people who are familiar with Dan recently, which is like, oh, he's doing a bunch of like rhythm stuff, but he's still able to make a lot of these other solid skill set maps like tech, like aim, alt as well, and he really delivered on this one as well, I feel.
Yeah, Down, very similar to what our Tizen did for Nomad 3, came through at the last second for the roundtable when we had issues getting a custom song mapped and turned around a tiebreaker in 24 hours that was just a full mix of tons of different skill sets. Yeah, he still got it for tech also. This is a really fun map. A lot of finger control, a lot of aim control. I think notably a little less slider aim than a lot of other modern tournaments. You know, a lot of other tournaments you see like Sharu, Halgo types of maps. This one still has that, but it's not, I think, the complete primary focus. It's more of a split focus between a lot of traditional tech elements instead.
Yeah, it's very section based. The first section has a lot of like cut streams and stuff like that, where it goes into more slider based rhythms later on. And then the last guy has a mix of both.
The stream map. So yeah, thank you so much to Augie for the replay. Obviously, not playing for Hong Kong, but able to help out with replays, which is really awesome.
Yeah, no Suwagi for Hong Kong, I think, is a big surprise for a lot of people this year, but I think it was their roster came out and then he joined the playtest.
Yeah,
team,
exactly.
So.
He literally just didn't want to play. Or not enough time, I think, is what he said. But replays don't take that much time, fortunately, for somebody like him. But yeah, you can. I guess you could coin this kind of stream techie, but
A little.
I think there's a good amount of size as well, and it's important to apply some contrast of hidden one.
Speaking of which, let's move on to the hidden one. We've got a very, what I think of as non-standard hidden one for this pool. Glaz by Yunosuke, mapped by Fa. This is not your grandpa's awkward aim AR9 CS4 wide angle jump hidden one. This is an alt tech hybrid at CS5. Very, very different sort of hidden one.
Yeah, and like this is really where it starts to be like, okay, this is going to be a lot different in terms of skill set expression, and decided to move out the generic hidden one awkward aim map for something that does a lot more. And this just happens to be, as you already said, alt tech at 150 BPM, 2 minutes of CS5 on the harder side definitely, but also very short. Balance out the difficulty.
We continue a long-standing tradition of 3 years of having Hidden 1 be potentially the map with the least amount of total score in qualifiers. It's very... this is a map that's very tough to be consistent on, and both me and Azer can attest to that, having played the map.
And yeah, shout out to the mapper, Fo. Honestly, not really a common custom map. I think this is like one of his first ever custom maps. I don't think he ever really did tournament mapping before. But
yeah, he recently came back.
Mm-hmm.
He was inactive for a while, and then he got interested in tournaments and signed up, and we were like, hey, we know you, you're good.
That stream in the middle, by the way, that looks really hard. That actually plays very well. I had far more trouble with all the other patterns in this map than that middle stream. I think that pattern plays really, really well. I don't think a lot of people will have too much trouble with it as long as you're good on the flow aim.
Mm-hmm.
And I did say this was not your grandpa's hidden one. I apologize to Azer. Apparently this is, actually. He's still got the hidden one.
Azer's locked in, bro. But yeah, hopefully this does feel a lot different compared to Nomad 4. Definitely the BPM is making a large difference, as well as obviously hidden and the precision element. So I feel like what it brings to the table in terms of skill set, I guess uniqueness is really cool.
And if you're one of these very reactionary people that instantly see two tech maps or tech-ish maps in a row and think WTF, all tech maps, then I think there won't be any tech maps for a while. So just hold your horses there.
Yeah, this one is definitely not a tech map. Natsuno Owari by Second Wall, mapped by Zelk, and I don't know if that's Panda Hero or Local Hero.
It's heroin. It's heroin.
What the? Okay, never mind. I got trolled.
I think the name was Some Hero, no?
At one point? Could not tell you.
But yeah, this is going to be where the aim went in the hidden pool, mixed in with Air 8. Just a combination of two skill sets has a bit of overlap. And if you guys already remember from last year, where Zelk made Unleash, or was it 2 years ago? I think it was last year though. But definitely plays a little similar. Kind of went for the same, I think, theme of map. But yeah, this kind of wide angle awkward aim on Air 8 is a really cool skill set.
Yeah, and J-pop, J-rock. I don't even know what this genre is, but it's nice.
Yeah, it's a nice contrast to the pool. I feel like this map isn't very like polarizing by any means. I think that how it contrasts with the hidden one makes it so that the maps work very well with each other. Doesn't have too much flow because of the hidden one, and obviously has way more aim.
Yeah, way more aim. The BPM is like 30, 35 more, or 25 I guess, because it's 155. But there's hardly any flow. I think there was a bit, and then we simplified the stream shape somewhat. And it's mostly just awkward aim and big aim, I guess. So it's a very nice map to play. I think it ended up being very cool, I think, as someone who plays AR8 Hidden a lot. I love playing this map after all the changes and... No, don't laugh, come on.
All the changes. It took a while.
Even as someone who... Oh, go ahead.
No, I mean, I think that overall this map plays really fun overall. I think I was a big fan almost the entire time, but I think that it just feels really satisfying to play.
Even as someone who doesn't really play AR8 Hidden all that much, I had a lot of fun playing through this map. And a lot of that is due to these types of aim patterns that just take what you would expect them to be, like just straight up linears. They throw linears at you, and then they throw like linears that go backwards through themselves onto you, like that pattern right there. And that kind of contrast and juxtaposition between the normal patterns and the patterns that are trying to throw you off is very fun to play through.
Yeah.
Oh, I was wondering where they'd lose Ak, and then they lost Ak on the double.
A little bit of a trip up at the end, but good replay by Tsuwagi.
That last slider looks like a cat. A little bit.
Thanks, guys, at Chip. Nobody else, just Chip. What?
Yeah,
It's a 20 classic right now, actually.
Chip didn't make this map, but dude.
Yeah, it's okay. Anyways, on to Hard Rock 1. Some people wanted aim. Unfortunately, we have a data map instead.
Yeah, you know who made this one? It's me.
Wait, it's crazy, actually. Wait, it's 240? Whoa, what's going on here?
What the heck?
Wait. And
it has bursts? Excuse me?
Has a multitude of skill sets. It's going to be snap aim at 240. Has a lot of flow aim you'll see in the key eye, and a little bit of burst at the start of the map. This is it's like half speed. There's like a little bit of speed at the start, but it's mainly ult. But see you later on.
It's like, this isn't ult in the traditional sense because the BPM is right in that threshold where everyone that single tap says this is a single tap map, and everyone that alt says no, this is an alt map.
And here comes the flow in the key eye.
Flow and rhythm is also a big part of this. There's a lot of 1-6, a lot of, I guess would be 1-8 technically, or I guess it would be 1-3 and 1-4, but because it's 240. But yeah.
Row by Necrogoblicon. This is A, cool song. B, yeah, like you guys have said, a lot of stuff going on in this map. I really liked the flow aim portions. I think the snap aim plays very, very comfortably. I can't hit anything above 180 BPM, so the speed parts were not my favorite. But hey, I think it works for the pool. I think this is a good introduction into some of the speedier stuff in the pool, especially when we have the double 200 BPM Nomad 1, Nomad 2. I think the pool was kind of needing something a little bit faster at this point.
Also, don't worry, Dio. I also was like double tapping whenever I play tested this. At one point, I did have to make a specific stream more double tappable because I couldn't. And I didn't want this to be like completely unplayable for people with finger deficiencies such as myself and Shiv. And you, and everyone in this call, actually.
Everyone in this call, yeah.
Or hoof deficiencies in the case of El Condor Pasa.
Yeah, for sure. Man, this slot is really the only heavy burst part. The rest of the map is pretty much just all and a lot of aim control.
Yeah, there's a little bit of rhythm in the KIs, and in the last KI, the spoilers, there will be a rhythm section because it like does a refrain of the chorus, but yeah.
And yeah, flow is definitely a little more intensive than the first KI.
You know, I can read German. This is the rhythm section.
Grandy Senpai or Grandy Senpai DT1, Loki.
True.
That's
I wonder if this being kind of an awkward, non-traditional slot will make other slots maybe more, like, maybe different? Who knows? Who knows if this will change other slots balancing?
That'd be crazy. Poolers paying attention to what skill sets are in the map and changing the slots based on that. That's no one has ever done that before in the history of map pooling. Speaking of which, we have 2 hard rocks in this pool. Banana DX Choco Crepe by Umeboshi Chasuke. Again, mapped by Star Sticks. Yet another custom map, because the whole pool is custom, for the Qualifiers pool this year.
Yeah, I think that so the difference between this Hard Rock and Hard Rock one is that this rhythm is extremely predictable. Besides, like, okay, so in Hard Rock 1 you had the Kia, which was like very repetitive, but besides that, the rest of the map is like pretty difficult to kind of like predict. But this one, like, the rhythm literally stays the exact same, and that's the entire kind of gimmick. Until this one section in the middle, which you'll see. And it's going to be a lot of versatile skill sets. It's mainly precision control, but a lot of aim, a lot of flow as well.
A lot of aim, and yeah, since Hard Rock 1 is less about big aim, this one is going to be more about just your regular type of aim, just switch it up to CS 6.5. And it's not even 6.5 exactly, because it actually ends up being 6.24, because 4.8 base. We did this so that some of the wiggles, or some of the bursts could feel a little bit more friendly, because the way they're done is like in a sort of like acceleration kind of way, so it didn't end up feeling a little bit RNG, like too much RNG. We ended up increasing the CS a little bit, or I guess decreasing if you think about it in that way.
Yeah, this section is like the really cool like aim control section, by the way. Kind of like this constant rhythm reappearing over and over again.
Yeah, I like the way this does precision, because it's a lot of aim, but then you've also got all of the flow aim elements and kind of wiggle streams and the finger control aside from that. So it's a lot of very different things, but all of them I think are usually what you would tend to see in a precision slot, just isolated from each other. And here they're all mixed together, which makes all of the individual elements that much
Look
harder.
away from your screen.
Wow, my favorite replay by Librarian. Hope she has seen this map.
You can look back now.
You can look back now. Okay, so we were talking about, hey, the Hard Rock 1 is 240 BPM, and, maybe the poolers looked at the different slots to kind of determine what kind of maps should go in each slot, right? Well, here's Double Time 1 Dream by Joyless, mapped by Light, or Nesanya for
Nesanya?
this pool.
Yeah,
270?
275.
This is a speed map. I can't do the
speed
bursts. I can't
speed map.
top 270? What?
It's speed map replayed by Wix though. Oh. You already know what's up. Fast aim pick. A lot of reading as well, 10.3. This is meant to be one of the dedicated aim picks in the pool as well.
One of the dedicated aim picks it is, because I believe, spoilers again, throughout this whole map, this has maybe one triple. I don't think it even has one.
Triple.
Yeah.
No, I think there's literally 0-1-4 in the entire song. I think there's no triples, no bursts whatsoever in this, which is very unique as far as DT1s go. Usually there's some.
Yeah, if you like 10.3 and you hate triples and you hate using two fingers and instead only like to, mash your keyboard with both fingers at once, this is a reasonable map for you. And I would recommend you pester your local BN about ranking this once this is over. This is a joke. I did it. I did it in jest. Don't actually do that. But yeah, very, very traditional, very kind of comfortable aim map. It just ends up being on a faster BPM so that it doesn't end up very, very easy.
Mm-hmm. It's good BPM balance for the rest of the aim maps in the pool. So you have obviously like a 180 BPM in Hidden 2. You have a 200 aim map in No Mod 1. Hard Rock 1 240. Hard Rock 2 like 180, 190 I think, and this one's 270. So all different ranges to really amplify the experience of each separate map. Thank you to Wix for this replay. Thank you to Mappa and Netsananya. Netnasanya. Why did I say? I pronounced it completely wrong actually.
You were. As you tend to do with a lot of mappers. You did say RT Wisen?
True.
Wait, it's art. Wait, what?
It's Artisan.
I think everyone pronounces it Artisan. Also, did you know that Lucent's name is actually Lucent, and not Lucent?
No, I did not know at all. I did not know.
Yeah.
I learned that yesterday.
You learn something new every day.
DT2?
DT2. Bamboo Dance by A1 featuring Shiori, mapped by Nanoya. Nanoya, both a playtester and a mapper this year. This map's pretty cool. It's not it's not the super standard, just pure stream DT2, although there is a lot of that in this map. It's got a couple other things going on.
So this is going to be kind of the 230, 235 BPM tapping pick with a lot of finger control and stamina as well.
Yeah, so it ended up being, back when he first made the drafts for this, it ended up being a very finger controlling map. And we were like, okay, we can up the stamina on this because it ended up a little bit easy. And then he upped the stamina and it ended up becoming a very tough map. This map is not to be underestimated. This is very, very tough. And even for people who are I wouldn't say mashers, but are very looting pilled, and they just have rapid trigger addiction. If you just mash indiscriminately in this map, you will miss. It has some very awkward rhythms for you to parse. So only the real stamina, real speed players can properly play this. I would reckon.
Yeah, it's that really kind of it's lower BPM than your average super fast speed map, but it actually plays it's all a kind of heavy stuff. There's a lot of different finger control elements that really force you to be really comfortable at this type of BPM for speed.
Also, Lucent apparently meant the exact opposite of what he typed yesterday, so don't mind me, it's actually pronounced Lucent. This is a correction. This is a state-issued correction.
Okay.
To be fair, he literally typed, did you know that it's typed Lucent and not Lucent? And then he's retracting himself now. So.
Oh my god.
My bad.
Yeah,
this map is cool. Do you remember the old version of this map, Dio?
I don't think I do, because again, I am finger deficient. So when I was actually playtesting, I didn't touch the double time.
No,
man.
but I mean
everything outside of double time.
The old version of this this.
Oh, an old ranked set?
Old ranked set by Frostborn.
Oh, jeez.
Classic.
Probably not, considering I was the aim guy way back when Frostborn was an active mapper.
Right, thank you to Jackson for the replay. Really good speed player from USA. He shredded. But yeah, I think this map is a lot harder than 6.8 stars.
I think this gets buffed half the star rating on the site.
It goes
this
to
7.5.
Yeah, it goes to
my
7.5 in laser. So it's almost
nuts.
0.7 stars higher. Because the finger control aspect.
Wild.
Right. On to DT3. What speed mapper do we have?
Yeah.
What speed mapper do we got? Wait.
Squirrel Pascals.
Oh, hell.
Not Falling by Sable Hills, mapped by Squirrel Pascals. This map is also criminally underrated in star rating.
So, we argue that there's already enough tapping in the pool across multiple skills just like Hard Rock 1, Nomad 2, and DT2. So we have a little bit more finger control, 206 BPM. There's going to be reading as well, 10.2.
This is tough. I don't know
This
if you
is
noticed.
probably one of the hardest maps in the pool.
Yep.
This is a practice map, but for all the people who have practiced this map in the playtesting team, they do say that once you do practice, it's not as tough as it looks. I've seen like a trend as I've mapped and played in map pool tournaments, and it's that maps with big circle size and high slider velocity tend to look a lot tougher than they are.
This is not 291 BPM.
Yeah, no, this currently is 206. Or I guess... Yeah, no, it's 206. It becomes 291 right now.
But I hope after everyone's seen the pool, now you can form your opinions if the pool is trash. And as always, feel free to send feedback into the channel where me and Dada will do our best to fight against 50,000 people. And Miles as well, don't forget he's here as well. He's on
And
the showcase.
Wixinator. Specifically
Oh yeah, Wixinator's for
for...
sure making an appearance. I've
Yeah.
actually wanted the PvP so bad.
Hey, we don't call it PvP,
Oh
we
my
call it... we call it respectfully disagreeing. And having our
Oh,
own
true.
reasons. But hey,
Mm-hmm.
if you do find a particular map or like a particular pattern of a map specifically, or if you think something has an issue, please do like notify us immediately. Sometimes these things do slip by. If you have like an offset that you think is like a little bit wrong, or like these things, you can play test them and like look at them for a billion years, and sometimes they're just caught like way too late. Or maybe sometimes they're just caught by people who are actually having to play the map 60 billion times, like you. So, yeah, please do notify us if you think one of the maps has something wrong on it, or if you think one of the maps is trash.
And yeah, pretty much last bit of DT3 as we round the map pool. Thanks to all the replayers that helped out. Thanks to everyone to watch. Of course, as always, feel free to send any message. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope everyone has a fun time in this qualifiers.
Good luck to all of the teams playing in qualifiers this year. There's a grand total of 57 registered teams. The OS World Cup keeps growing year after year with more and more teams. I think last year we were at, what was it, 53 or 51? So it's a big jump from last year up to 57 now this year. Going to be another really competitive qualifiers, and I'm really excited to see how things turned out. Thanks again to all of the map pooling team, since no one else is here to thank you. Thanks for all of the hard work and actually putting together all of this alongside the playtesters and replayers, who of course do some of the work as well. And I think that's going to be it for the qualifiers showcase in the OS World Cup 2023. Good luck again to everyone playing in the qualifiers. We hope you all make it into top 32. And we will be back next weekend with both the qualifiers seeding results as well as the round of 32 map pool showcase. Signing off from the OS World Cup. This was Dada, Shiv, and Dio for the OWC 2023 Qualifier Showcase. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next weekend.
Good luck.
Good luck, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hello and welcome to, I'm sure, the stream that many of you have been waiting for. The Osu World Cup 2023 Qualifiers results stream. The show that decides the seeding and the early stage fate of some of our teams in this ever so prestigious tournament. And with me, I am Sad Shiva, and I am joined by the wonderful Miles to present you guys the very exciting stuff.
Yeah, long last. I'm sure this weekend has been very long and very stressful for some of you, but don't worry, it all comes to an end here. But it doesn't if you're in the top 32 teams. But yeah, as Shiba mentioned, this seeding will determine the bracket for the entire tournament. So a lot at stake here. So we're going to try and get into this right away. So let's start.
Yeah, why don't we immediately kick it off, because we are already wrapping the first team, seed 57. It is India. Unfortunately, just not getting many good scores at all. Bottom 37 for the majority of them, 56 on 3 of the Nomads. The best score being 1 million on the Nomad 1 as a collective team. Unfortunately, not a good start for India. And immediately shifting back to seed 56, Croatia.
Croatia, not doing too hot either. Lots of 56s, 57s, just generally not a great year for them. And now straight on to Switzerland. We're kind of speed running through these lower seeds here. So, yep, Switzerland missing a few players. I think for all of these teams, there's not really too much to say. Just like generally 50s for most of the placements. So, not going to go too in depth there. Just try again next year.
Next up is South Africa at seed 54. Had a few decent tournament players here, and Iril especially, probably being the key contributor to any of the decent scores on this team, but aside from that, unfortunately not performing too well in the qualifiers. Better luck next year, South Africa.
Thank you for playing. Now, on to number 53. We've got Slovakia. I think this is a little bit of an underperformance for a lot of people's expectations. Players like Tikev, Hernolka, both well-known tourney players. For their times, I think they haven't played too much recently. But yeah, once again, not too hot from them. But hopefully they can regroup and come back, get a stronger placement next year.
Yeah, thank you for playing Slovakia. Next up is Panama. Seed 52. Highest score being in the normal 3. And on top of that, hidden 1 and hidden 2. 50, unfortunately. Not a good run for Panama, but maybe better luck next time.
They have Ramon too. That guy is such a good tourney player when he's active. And now Sigi and Mongolia, another country, I think, at Panama and Mongolia and similar places where you have one extremely good tourney player in the country, but unfortunately not able to bring the support for them. But yeah, top 32 on Nomad 1, rank 31 on that map, so they would qualify if that were the only map in the pool, but unfortunately for them, that is not the case.
Yeah, good effort from some of their top players, but we're going to be moving on to Colombia, who got seed 50. And yeah, just another one of those unfortunate performances here. Some decent scores here, 37 on the hidden 1. Again, the highest score that they got, unfortunately. But yeah, good effort. Better luck next time.
Now, into the top 50, we've got seed number 49. Lithuania, for some reason, says 47 there, but...
oh yeah, on the sheet it's different.
Yep, sheet. Okay, there we go. 49.
We skipped a few. Sorry, guys. Sorry, spoilers.
United Arab Emirates, another country, I think coming here for the first time, actually. So, obviously, a lot of these first-timer countries not really going to be able to get any close to qualifying performances, but they did beat some of those other countries, so obviously props to them for showing up.
Yeah, especially in the DTs, getting the highest out of the recent teams that we've seen. And coming up next, C48, Cambodia. Has a few decent scores. I think particularly in the double time of the Nomad 1 are probably their best scores that they could have gotten, but unfortunately not going to be enough to get anywhere else. As we said, if it was Nomad 1 being the only map, they could have got way further, but not this year, unfortunately, Cambodia. But good try. Hopefully next year.
And then next up, as you all saw earlier, it's Lithuania, another team that I think digressed a little bit, or they lost some of their stronger players. No Shinru, who I think has been one of their long-time tourney players. So unfortunately, their rank in the qualifier is going to go way down. But obviously, love to see them in the tourney every year, and we wish them the best of luck next year.
And at C46 is Latvia. And yeah, I mean they had a couple good scores here and there, but once again, just like the last few teams we've seen, just overall not being able to make the cut. NT, Latvia, they had some good attempts. Waywon probably being the biggest contributor here on their team. But outside of that, unfortunately, not too good for Latvia. Better luck next time, and hopefully they get a good shot next year.
Yep, and obviously they lost a pretty good player to a flag change, so it's going to be not too good for them. And then next at number 45, we have Saudi Arabia. I think a team that could have been a little better. I know they had a very strong tourney player, flag change to the Philippines, actually, username Peachy. But yeah, unfortunate for them, just could not make the cut. They had a few decent scores. You see that Nomad 2 being top 32, but otherwise, not really too much to note here. Thanks for playing, Saudi Arabia.
Coming up next is Czechia, or Czechia. I don't remember how you pronounce it.
Czechia?
Czechia. We'll do Czechia. Yeah, once again, another team that unfortunately couldn't make the cut. Some decent efforts on a few maps, No More 2 in particular being their highest score, but just barely enough to qualify on that map alone. But outside of that, generally, unfortunately, couldn't make the cut. But NT, 100% NT, some good players on this team.
This is actually, like, I think a big underperformance. They have players like Poggers CZ still there under the username Sigmund Fraud, as well as LeBron James and Vilaz. Like, they had some of their really strong players sign up, but no bloodbursting apparently means no qualification. All right, now on to number 43, we have Austria. Not too much here. We saw the return of Fedora Goose, one of their longtime tourney players, but that's not gonna make the cut to qualify. Goose needed a little more help here, or just overall stronger team performance.
I think people saw a little bit more potential in this team, especially with the return of Fedora Goose being their super iconic star player for Austria. But fortunately, this year as a collective team, they couldn't get the scores they needed. Unfortunately, 43 is where they stand this year.
And now moving on to seed 42, we've got Vietnam. Fortunately or unfortunately, not really making the cut once again. I think they've lost a few strong players over the years. I don't remember if Zeklua ever played OWC for them, but they weren't really able to convert enough to get up to that top 32. Obviously, they're 10 seeds off this year, so nice try. Thank you for playing.
And the next team being Estonia. I think some of this team does have some great players, especially in Ansenth, probably being one of their biggest players here, but also having quite a few good players in this team. But unfortunately, not getting the performance they were hoping for. Some really good players like Cedra and Ansenth are probably the most notable players here. But yeah, fortunately, not the run for them. They had a few decent scores on some maps, but outside of that, once again, 41st is where they stand, lower than last year's placing, unfortunately for them. But better next time, Estonia. Hopefully next year.
And on to seed 40, we have Belarus, a team that I think not a lot of people had very high expectations for, but they were able to beat out a lot of the other, I guess, bottom qualifying teams as we've gone through so far. See, ranked 27 on Nomad 2, ranked 25 on Hard Rock 2. Not bad performances on those maps, but got a little bit tanked by some maps like, DT1. Surprising struggle on DT1. A lot of people had a really good time on that map. Oh yeah, no Blaze Ink on that team. But yeah, now on to seed 39, Portugal. A team that I think used to be in that tier of teams that was really competing for that top 32, like teams hovering between like seed 30 and seed 36 throughout the years. But unfortunately, they've lost a few players, and I think Maki Donalds is a lot less active than he used to be, so not going to be making the cut this year. But thank you for playing as always, Portugal.
And your next 38th seed is Uruguay. 1 seed placing above last year, and any improvement is a great improvement. And they do have some genuinely good players. Plox and Danit, Rebo, 3 of the core really strong players of Uruguay. But unfortunately, as a collective squad, especially as a 6-man roster, they don't have the depth, unfortunately, to get any of the super high scores that would get them to qualify. But any improvement is still impressive. Thanks, Uruguay, for playing. Hopefully next year.
Yeah, Uruguay is always an interesting roster, but only 6 players this year, not going to help them out. But really, they have some strong tourney players in this country. I just wish they would all sign up.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I think this team could have a lot more potential if some of the bigger players popped in. But unfortunately this year, not their time. Uruguay, seed 38. Let's move on to our next country who unfortunately couldn't make it, it is Belgium. I think quite a few people saw this team as a potentiality of getting into that top 32, especially with Hanori, Hexaki, and 5 Josie, along with Medabi coming back as well. Several decent players here that could have got some really high potential, getting the highest scores generally out of the teams that we've seen on the Hidden, the Hard Rock, Hard Rock 1, number 26, their highest score out of their respective teams. Definitely had quite a bit of potential, but unfortunately, as a full squad, they couldn't hit the cut. Unfortunate for Belgium.
Yeah, really sad. I had them on my qualifying squad on the pick'em, but unfortunately for them, not able to convert here. Still always a very, I guess, very active tournament country, hoping for their sakes that they can have some more tourney players get back to the grindstone, play a little more next year, and maybe have a good chance of qualifying. But as always, thank you for playing.
Coming up next, with our next country, we're starting to get into the close territories here where you start to really feel the sting for some of these countries. And C36 is Hungary.
Yep, Hungary has a few strong tourney players in this country, notably Defi, ranked 328, very active tourney player. But yeah, quite a well-rounded standings here across the board. You see a lot of like low 40s, high 30s here in their placements, number 27 on DT2. So really just push a little bit harder next year, and I think this team has a good chance of qualifying.
Hopefully next year. Good effort from Hungary, but let's move on to our next team, the last 3 teams before failing to qualify. Next up is not Belgium.
It's Belgium again.
It's Belgium again. No way. Nope. It is Denmark. Another team that I believe actually personally guessed to have put in my qualifying spot. They've got several really good tournament players, Catburger and Iamville in particular, and Pole as well. I don't know if it's pronounced Prayer or Pole, but those are the 3 kind of staple players of this Denmark roster. Catburger in particular being a huge outlying star for this team. But unfortunately, they just barely missed out on the cut, and they got seed 35. Big NT, though. Some decently good, impressive scores, especially in that No Mod 1, number 19.
But yeah, really sad. Denmark, a long time, I think, staple OWC country. They would always show up, and even if they don't usually go all the way to like top 12 or top 8, they're usually pretty solid in like the top 24, but unfortunately this year, not able to convert.
Yeah.
So, as always, thank you for playing now.
Yeah, unfortunately a harsh drop as well, 17th last year. Just unfortunately not maybe in the good form and maybe missing some potential players that could really make that cut for them. Unfortunately this year, not for Denmark. Thank you so much for playing though, and better luck next year.
Now on to seed number 34. We've got Team Israel, another team that I know a lot of people thought
this hurts.
Very close to qualifying. I picked this team to qualify on my pick'em.
This hurts.
This team won a few points against the United States last year off of some extremely strong performances from players like Chip, Mr. Potato, and Painted Koala. But this squad this year just not able to get it done in the qualifier. That Hard Rock mod that they were so strong on last year actually could have been the death of them here. Number 46 on Hard Rock 1, even though their best spot was actually the HR2. If they did a little bit better on the HR1, this team probably would have qualified. But yeah.
It's tragic. It really is tragic. Mr. Potato, Painted Koala, and Sip are genuine, huge staples for this country. They performed exceptionally well in 3-digit World Cup in particular, pushing Israel quite far ahead of the competition in that tournament. But unfortunately, the US World Cup, 34th is where they're going to stand this year. Great effort, though. Some great players. Such a shame to see this team go. But we're going to be seeing now the saddest loss from one of our lovely nations here. 33rd seed goes to Malaysia.
No. It always hurts to see who's at 33. I think I put Malaysia to qualify on my pick'em, but
yeah,
I mean, number 18 on Nomad 1, this team really had a few maps that they struggled a lot on. Looking at that Nomad 2, Nomad 3 combo, if they bring that up just a little bit, they're probably qualifying, because the margin between this team and seed number 32 is just so low. So always hate to see it. It's really sad for Team Malaysia, but you know, always thank you for playing and come back next year.
Yeah, and first team to qualify is something that I'm sure many of you may have kept an eye on. Seed 32 is the one and only if Aza switches. I don't want to say it before it switches.
Let's see it. Let's see it.
Kazakhstan!
They qualified.
Kamenshik and friends have made it into the top 32.
This is crazy. So for those of you who haven't really followed open rank tournaments as of late, Kamenshik is the real deal. That player is very good, and him and his team were able to get into OWC. I mean, there's not much else to say. Just look at those stats.
Yeah, Kamenshik is an absolute star for this team. And Kazakhstan have finally made it into the World Cup. I believe this is the first year that they've made it, which is incredible. And I could not be more happy. I'm sure chat is absolutely ecstatic to see this team finally make it into an OSU World Cup bracket. Congratulations, Kazakhstan. You finally got in. I couldn't be happier. We're going to be going into a quick 1-minute tech pause due to some internal technical issues, but we will not be long. We'll be with you very, very soon. We'll do a quick BRB. Alrighty, I believe we are back now.
Now with a dark background with animations.
Oh,
very cool.
This is so cool. I love OWC graphics. It's just so satisfying to watch. It's like one of those TV things that kind of ping on the corners of the screen every time. But yeah, anyway, congratulations Kazakhstan for qualifying. Ginormous achievement for this country, and I couldn't be happier for them. Now, let's move in further into our top 32 with 31st, Argentina.
Yep, Argentina, another one of those countries that I think is typically on that border between qualifying and not qualifying, where as the years go by, you see this team qualify in the top 32, and also get in one of those really tragic placements like rank 35 and below between that and 32. Yep, this year they're going to be making the cut. Lots of old players coming back this year for Argentina, like Payne and Amuro, both very old players, along with some new talent like BTG4, certified D ranker, along with Kagami. But yeah, we see another country with some very well-rounded placements. They obviously don't really like the hard rock pool, but outside of that, they were able to perform well enough to keep that average in the top 32.
Yeah, several really good players in here. You already talked about Amuro and Payne making their return for Argentina. Kagami, BTG4, and Richo. Just general good range of strong players here. I'm especially looking forward to seeing Richo perform. He's done really, really well in open rank 20s this year. And yeah, I can't wait to see what this team will be capable of in the 31st seed of the US World Cup 2023. Let's move on to our...
I need to explain what BTG4 did. So BTG4 is such a big D ranker that he was like rank 9k. He ranked up to 5k for 1 day to sign up for OWC. And then, you know what he did? He D-ranked straight back down. This guy is already back at like rank 8.5k right now.
Wait, is this real?
Yeah, this is real. Check hashtag tourney. This guy is 8.7k right now.
Wait, that's real. Oh my god. Dude, okay, people, if you want to go to his profile right now, you will see it. Oh my lord.
Yeah, it's crazy. Look at this guy's graph. Look at this guy's graph.
That is crazy levels of commitment. Good lord. What the heck?
Committed to being a D ranker. All right.
That's the crazy story of Argentina. Let's move on to seed 30. Who will it be? Thailand. So, despite a few catastrophic losses with this team, especially with no Phantasma and no Salvatore, the power of Depi Force and Lesperi and Kadama and Chess, they still go, especially with Lesperi coming into this team. Absolute prodigy, this guy. Probably single-handedly contributing to some massive scores here for this Thailand team. Number 18 on the Hidden, 16th on Hidden 2, and 17th on No Mod 2, 12th on No Mod 1. Some really good outlying scores here. Just a little bit of a struggle on these tapping mechanics and speed. But outside of that, Thailand got a solid set of scores here.
Yeah, for those who don't believe in Lesperi, in the 4-digit World Cup, Thailand, I believe, placed 3rd or 4th with Lesperi on that roster. and he could have arguably been the best player in that tournament. So really excited to see how he does here on the global stage on the real World Cup, not the 4-digit World Cup. Now that he's playing with people who are more around his skill level, because that guy was absolutely busted in 4-digit.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Lesperi and friends can do. They still have some really good players in here. Depiforce and Kadama coming back from last year. Really strong players. Despite those losses that we mentioned earlier, I think this team still has some really good potential to perform decently well in this tournament. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Thailand are capable of. But let's move on to seed 29. It is none other than Netherlands.
Yep, really happy to see the Netherlands back. I know they didn't qualify last year. They were the sad team at seed 33, but this year with a few upgrades are able to come back. I think one of their very notable upgrades is their lowest ranked player of UC2. This player is an absolute demon. I've heard people say that he could contest the gimmick prowess of maybe any of the top tourney players right now. Then other than that, you're seeing a lot of old faces return for them as well. Luciano, Lilili, Manivat being a very strong player for them. And that led to some very well-rounded placements in their qualifier results. You see numbers 14 on that Nomad 3, very impressive. I think that might be one of the highest ratings we've seen so far. And almost suffering in the DT pool, but they did well enough to get put in one of these close qualifying spots.
Yeah, and that's the Netherlands. Seed 29th. Let's move on to seed 28. It will be none other than Mexico. Vamos, Mexico. They managed to qualify once again. Riot and friends, along with Wolfie and some decently good players here, St. SFT in particular. Some really strong players here, and you can already see with that Hard Rock place 18th, a big outstanding strength of this team is that Hard Rock capability. Number 18th on Hard Rock 1, 3 million score, and number 21 on the Hard Rock 2. Their two highest scores. That's how you know this team is a threat on this Hard Rock, especially with Riot around, because this guy has been a beast this year. Qualifying for MGC in particular, he is absolutely the star of this team. Despite a few losses on this team, like Pundis, for example, not being returning here for Mexico, they still have some decent players here that could make up for that loss and potentially give Mexico a higher placement this year.
Yep, Mexico, usually a pretty reliable team to qualify here, this time seating at 28th, just a 3-position drop from last year. So, hoping for them, they can do a little bit more in making noise in the bracket stage this year. So, obviously, congratulations to Mexico for qualifying. And now, on to seed number 27.
It is the Hermanos from Spain. As I'm half Spanish, I'm very happy to see this team make it. These guys are a staple roster for the Spanish nation. So many returning players consistently here. Antonio, in particular, the absolute undefeated star for Spain, probably being a massive contributor to several strong high placings here, particularly in that Hard Rock 2. But they've got some really good players here, some decent players that return once again every other year. Alcana, Aleph, Manolo, and Harmonia. Several staple Spanish players on this team.
Almost half of their roster has all caps, all spaces in between their letters, so I'm thinking I should be on there, but yeah, as always, great stuff from the Spanish roster. Aleph, I think, becoming very prominent this year in the Spanish tourney scene, up there with Antonio as probably the two strongest players on that team. So looking forward to this Spanish team this year. And now on to seed number 26. We've got Taiwan. I really don't know what to think of the Taiwan roster every year, because on paper they look so good, but if you look at their last year's placement, they've dropped a whopping 9 placements since then in seeding, so don't really know what to think of them.
I think Taiwan have suffered some pretty decent losses in the last couple of years in terms of strong players that can keep their team afloat and keep themselves in high placing. Just barely missing out on top 16 last year, but this year placing quite a bit lower at 26. Unfortunately for Taiwan, one of those teams that just has a decent downgrade of their overall roster, but they still have some really solid players here, particularly in Slow, also known as Shield and Willy, probably the two most important players in this roster that I'm looking to see perform really, really well. Riser, I don't remember if he was in last year. I don't believe he was. I haven't seen him around very much. But still seeing Riser there is great. Having some great consistency and general hard rock comfort is going to be great for this team. And yeah, number 18th, on the normal 2 and number 11th on the double time 2. You know this team is a threat on speed, especially with players like Diastrophism around.
This team is just a threat in general. Like, if anyone here knows all of these Taiwanese players, these guys in their times are so strong. Like, Shield, Riser, like, anyone remember what Riser did on the semifinals tiebreaker like 3 years ago? Like, these players are insane. Their only real loss is no Dazzle win this year. So I'm really curious to see why this team seeded so low, but you guys need to look out for this team because they maybe only seed 26 this year, but like all of these players playing at their peak, this team can easily contest like top 12 probably. So this team is going to be a nuke for whoever has to face them early, so be careful.
Yeah, this team is a big threat, especially in the early stages. I completely agree with you. Even though they don't have Dazzlewind, who is arguably their most iconic player, their most known returning player of this team, unfortunately not this year, but still have a key threatening team that could be a big danger in the early stages. But let's move on to our next team here, C25. It is none other than Turkey.
Yep, Turkey, another one of those teams that has become commonplace for qualifying these days. Very strong tourney players in this country. I think most notably Raikaho, this time joined by Orke, Shinkiro, and Clutch X as well. So definitely a team to watch out for. I think very strong in a few specific areas. You see that number 13 on Nomad 4. You see some good performances on DT, 17th on DT2. Raikaho's specialty. You have to watch out when picking speed into this Turkey team.
Yeah, especially with Raikaho around. The guy has always been a consistent threat with this Turkish roster. Congratulations to Turkey qualifying. And let's move on to our next team. It will be Ukraine. Now, I love this team. These guys have some really strong players, particularly in Raf GPO and Roman. Two hugely strong tournament players who have improved massively this year, Dench and Magnata Gamer as well. They've got some great players on this team.
And this team has only been getting better since last year. I know it shocked a lot of people last year when they took a team like China to tiebreaker in round of 32, but they've only been getting better since Ukraine in the 4-digit World Cup, also placing very highly on the back of those players like Poma and Magneta Gamer as they are on this roster. But yeah, definitely going to be seeing more upwards from them this year. Very well-rounded roster, has a lot of strengths, so definitely be careful when you're facing this team.
Yeah, Ukraine, huge threat. They were a huge threat in 3-digit World Cup, and I'm sure this year will not be an exception. Let's move on to our next team, Sweden.
This is going to be, I think, a big comeback year for Sweden. They've had a huge intake of talent this year, I think especially coming in Feylan, who's their D-ranker import, who's just extremely strong on some of these gimmick skill sets, which has definitely propelled them up to being like rank 21 on Hidden 2, 26 on Hidden 1. But also, you have to look at that DT1 score. They are rank 5 on a map. I think that is the highest we've seen so far.
Yeah, with return players like Reedcan Andros, they've got a lot of high skill cap and high skill ceiling players that have the potential to perform really well on maps like these. This qualifier pool is hard, and that's how you know this team can do really well with some staple players sticking around like Skilla and Andros and Reedcan coming back. Great upgrade for the Swedish team. Looking forward to seeing what they can do in the bracket. Let's move on to our next team, which is Norway.
We've got one Scandinavian country next to another. We've got a lot of returning talent here for Norway, notably GN, Anthony W, Nineric, and Yokespai. But I think actually a lot of this roster, more so, is probably repeating players. Penguinzy back as well, Melver back as well. So overall, some very strong players for them. I think this team probably side graded since last year, but we know what this team is pretty good at. When you have GN and Yokespai, you're going to be very good on the reading, but they are also a very dangerous speed country when you have players like Penguinzy and Nineric especially. Nineric may be the highest tier tourney player we've seen so far. That guy can put in a lot of work when he is playing well.
Yeah, despite this team having a great roster, I can't help but think there's a little bit of an underperformance in this qualifier overall. I put this team placing much higher this year. Not top 8, but a little lower than I expected, but I'm sure they're going to make up for it in the bracket stage, especially with players like Ninarika coming around. Incredible mechanics player and generally well-rounded in the aim department. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do for this team. But let's move on to our next line here. 21, Singapore.
Singapore, another country that has been historically very good at tournaments across all different rank ranges. We're going to be seeing a lot of their strong performers come back this year. I think notably speaking, no Megumik, but we're seeing a certified veteran return in Emilia, who I think has been absent from this team for the last few years. But yeah, otherwise, lots of strong players to look at. Demonical, their beast is back. So definitely a very well-rounded roster to look forward to seeing.
Yep. Singapore getting seed 21. Decent stuff. Return of a couple really strong players. So looking forward to see what they can do this year. Let's move on to our seed number 20. It is Finland.
Yep, here's the last of the three big Scandinavian countries here. Finland, just one seed away from the other two. They're going to be seeding in here at 20. Lots of very strong tourney players here, looking especially at Amacetic. Freezed is back. Freezed is a very strong tourney player with Zeppe and newcomers like Shaduz. I think this team is very strong, especially on that hidden. Look at that. Number 12 on the hidden 2. Very strong gimmick roster here. Kalanlu as well. That guy is crazy at gimmick.
Yeah, Kalanlu is definitely a player to look out for this Finnish team, making them a significant threat on this reading. And on top of that, mechanics overall generally having some great players. I think Amacetic and Freeze in particular, I'm really looking forward to seeing how they can do on maps like the DT. They've already set some decent scores here, but I'm sure in the bracket stage, they're going to do even better. Let's move on to our next team, which is probably one of, personally, my biggest surprises in this tournament so far. Seed number 19, New Zealand. Now, of course, I know Saikyu and Zuma are around, and they're both incredible players. Zuma is an absolute freak, and I cannot wait to see what Zuma's going to do in this World Cup, especially considering how high this team placed than my expectations. Last year gained seed 25th, but this year upgrading that by about 6 seeds, seed 19.
Yeah, no, this is New Zealand's big glow-up year. They have so many strong players this year, as you said, Zoomer, but they also have players like Kim Suye, who I think are really going to surprise a lot of people, and their mechanics is just nuts. Number 5 on Nomad 2, number 3 on Hard Rock 2. Like, those are some extremely scary performances, and I think if you're scouting out up against New Zealand, you have to look at those maps and think maybe if you want to ban those with those types of performances.
Yeah, generally some unreal spikes in skill here. Definitely know what this team is capable of. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do later on. Let's move on to seed number 18. Now, going from the biggest glow-ups to, I personally believe, one of the biggest gloom downs is in Brazil. Seed 18, losing several staple players for this team. Still having players like Korean Malico, Defons, and Zubs coming in, but mixing players like Nissan, Mistia is a tough loss for this team. But they still made it work and managed to qualify seed 18th.
Yeah, I think the old guard of Brazil, so to speak, is pretty dead apart from Korean Maluco, but with them, you still have Defons, you still have Zubs. I think this team has a lot of potential. They're going to be able to do well on their good skill sets, looking at players like the other Defons. Both of their Defons are going to be putting in a lot of work this year, but if you look at that Nomad 4, that's going to be a skill set that they look at, which is funny because Brazil used to not really like tech, but now it looks like they're the new iteration of Brazil, very strong on the tech, getting number 8 on that in qualifiers.
Yeah, in the tournament scene, you kind of know Brazil for kind of hating tech and kind of being one of those skill sets that you just easily instantly pick against. In Brazil have always been known for being a strong mechanics roster, but their top mod is Nomad this year with 14th. So yeah, a decent change of pace for this Brazilian roster. Hopefully in the bracket stage, we're going to see them pull off some stuff that we did not expect. Let's hope. But let's get into seed number 17 here. The Sunrise Kingdom, it is Japan.
Japan, we're seeing some old faces return this year. I know Rolpan didn't play last year, but he's back now, and that is going to be huge for them. Rolpan has been their veteran tourney player, has showed up for most OWCs since like 2016, I think. But yeah, alongside of that, you've got a lot of other guys coming back, like Autolean Invoker, Kinakon, and Varvalian. The big Varv is back. Fear the Varvalian.
King Varv is here to stay in this year's World Cup, getting an identical placing as last year at seed 17th. but still, this team is a big threat. They made a decent appearance together in Corsair's Open as a collective national team known as Godfield Gaming. And quite a lot of the staple players in that roster are going to be in for this one. Outerlean, Tichi, and Varvalian in particular, Rolpan as well. I'm really looking forward to this Japanese roster. They've got a lot of potential here.
And facing them in the round of 32 is going to be our 16th seed coming right up. It is Team China. This is a crazy matchup to have in round of 32. China, such a powerhouse country year in and year out. Not talking about what happened last year, you still have Crystal and the 3 Lolols, along with some very strong returning players like Z Numbers and Mid-C, My Angel Anzu, and Survivor as well. This is a team that can put in the work when necessary. One thing that really surprises me, though, is China getting 4th on Nomad 2. Not typically the strongest stamina country, but able to do really well on this map this time around.
I'm telling you now, man, the power of Milk Tea and David completely showed on this. I'm telling you now, man. Milk Tea has made an absolutely crazy improvement this year. Milk Tea is LOLOL233. I'm sure we're going to have a World Cup dictionary at some point for some of these name collabs that we're going to see very soon. One country in particular I'm dreading to cast, but we'll wait until that time comes. But congrats, China. You will be facing Japan in your round of 32 matchup. Let's move on to our next nation. It is seed number 15, Team France.
Facing Brazil is France. Another banging round of 32 matchup, honestly. But yeah, the powerhouses for France are coming back this year. They lost some players like Vroom and Phils Dalama between the years, but Ekoro coming back, Mbappe coming back, and even Flavin, who's coming off, I think, a tourney ban coming back this year. Yeah, France doing decently well in qualifiers, not as good as they did last year, but still some very strong points like that Nomad 1 and the Hidden 2, which I think is going to be natural when you have one of the best reading players in the game on your team.
Yeah, France have always been known for being decently well-rounded on the Nomad and being exceptional on this Hidden. And you can see it proven there. 5th on the Hidden 2 and 15th on the Hidden 1 is no joke either. Ekoro is definitely going to be that star player to look out for here. But overall, just a great glove for France. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do this year. Despite placing lower this year than last year, this team still has a lot of potential, and I'm looking forward to seeing if the potential is fulfilled in the bracket stage. But let's move on to our seed 14th. It is none other than Team Italy. This team has improved quite a bit since last year. 3WC made a glot for several incredible players here. Arj, Shadow Modico, Ryuzaki, Kirochi, the staple trio or quadrio here for this team. But you also have some great players like BGM16 that I'm looking forward to seeing here for this Italian roster.
Also seeing Julia return is pretty good, and now I can say for sure we've seen some of the highest placements so far. Rank 2 on Nomad 1, rank 2 on DT1. This team is really good at aim. I can just say that for sure.
Aim and Hard Rock, man.
Yep,
Yeah.
Aim and Hard Rock. Hard Rock has been Italy's bread and butter these past few years where they've been upsetting people. By the way, so Italy, really strong Hard Rock country, going to be facing New Zealand in round of 32. Another extremely strong mechanics country. I think that is definitely going to be a match to put on your calendars, folks.
Yeah, we saw China, Japan, and now we see Italy, New Zealand. Really exciting clash of skills from both of those teams. So once again, Italy, you're going to be facing New Zealand. Best of luck. That's going to be a banger to keep saved for your calendars, as Miles mentioned. Let's move on to seed number 13. We're slowly approaching our top 12 here. Seed number 13 is the one and only Hong Kong. A gigantic loss of Suwagi not playing in this, but still they've got some great players. MCY4 is sticking around for this Hong Kong roster, along with A21, who's made a massive improvement this year overall after his little hiatus, I believe. I believe he took quite a bit of a break in 2022, but coming back for this year and setting up some great scores to assist in this Hong Kong roster. 7th on the Nomad 2, 9th on the DT2. A general well-rounded result here from this Hong Kong team.
I'm generally a little bit surprised that they were still able to get very strong scores on Nomad 2 and DT2 with their loss of RLSC, who's one of their very strong tapping players. So no RLSC, still able to convert on tapping. That is very good for Hong Kong, who are traditionally, honestly, not the best tapping country. More known, I think, for their gimmick and their tech. But still, as always, Hong Kong is a great tournament country. They're going to be putting out great performances this World Cup as well. Going to be going up against Finland. That should be another good match to watch.
Alrighty, let's move on to our 12th seeded team. It is a very known country for the OS World Cup, 5th last year, but this year dropping just a little extra short here. But it is Team Romania. Still some great players for this team, particularly in the return of Camo Ciala. This World Cup has got several amazing tournament players that are returning for several respective teams, and Camo Ciala is one of those many legendary players to come back this year. Along with him, you've got Badu, Eternum, and Lucrece sticking around, Rolly as well, and a few newcomers too.
Yeah, but I think notably speaking, they've lost one of their best players in Nanoya coming over to the map pooling team for us, but not playing for Romania. That's going to be a big loss for them, but otherwise it looks like they still have some of their best strengths. Very strong hidden team, very strong hard rock team. You're either picking into a great mechanics roster or a reading roster with Badu, so a very hard team to pick against. So be careful looking at this team. Going to be
number 3 in the DC1. Yeah.
Facing up against Singapore in that first round.
Yeah, number 3 in the DT1. Giant threat, several single-digit scores here. A really tricky team to run against in the bracket stage. But let's move on to probably one of the most shocking placements in this tournament. I'm sure many of you expected this team to place way, way higher in our qualifier rankings. But number 11 is going to be Team Canada. This is a shock to the system. I cannot lie to you. This team is freakishly good on paper and still have some great players to boot as well. Some decent returning players like Stoof is coming back as well. Fantastic Hard Rock player, and you can see it in that rank 9 on Hard Rock 1. No slouch at all. Number 1 on Hidden 1. What a surprise. Zudi, Xylus, Cup Paper, perfection for this Hidden Yip as well. That perfect quadrifecta for Canada getting number 1 on Hidden 1. No surprises there. It seems to really have been the nomads that made this team struggle and drop down significantly from what many of us expected.
I can tell you why this team placed 11th. Zudi and Xylus were playing from TwitchCon, so they weren't playing on their real setups. But yeah, one thing I can say about this is Norway, you are getting robbed. You deserve to be angry at this. Norway is going to be facing Canada in the round of 32. That is such a nightmare matchup for them. But yeah, Canada being seed 11, this is going to be throwing a massive wrench in the bracket because we all know looking at this that this is a top 6 team, but they're just placed at 11th. So have fun.
I place this team even higher. I mean, I predicted this team to get top 4. Unfortunately, early placement there, but maybe with the TwitchCon nerf was what let this team down. But let's move on. We got a few more teams to come through to check out here, Miles. And it's going to be seed number 10. It's going to be none other than Team Chile. Ginormous upgrade in their roster from this year. The return of Mathy is huge. And they still have some great players to come by as well. TFGE, Trot Gamer. Every single player on this team is a big, big threat.
Yeah, it was Dio who jinxed them a few years ago, but I am going to be the one to do so now because I am extremely bullish on this roster. They have so much talent, I think, unlike we've seen from any other Chile roster in the past. You have players like Intercamping and Mathy, 2 very dynamic star players, along with newcomers from the 4-digit scene like Gonza, Yunha, No 37, who is genuinely a threat to any reading map in this tournament, along with TFGE. This team is so unbelievably strong that I think on their good day, they could mess with just about any team in this tournament, I think, outside of the top 3.
Yeah, generally you've got the superstar carry that's into camping, setting up an incredible performances in the last few weeks, especially in MGC. This guy is going to be the big star for this team. And if you see Mathy and Gonza on a good day, good lord, you are going to get completely destroyed. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Chile are going to be capable of. And congratulations for getting into C10. Going into our top 10 now, number 9, Team Indonesia.
So yep, Indo has been established to be a very strong tournament country for a few years now. You have a lot of those strong players from that returning, like Dito, Hakui Koyori, Lifeline notably coming back this year, along with Ro, and arguably their strongest tournament player of all time, Skydiver, going to be coming back from his hiatus. So I think this Indo team is going to be able to make some steps up from last year. As we see, they got some very good scores on this qualifier. Rank 4 overall on the Nomad. Number 4 Nomad 1, number 4 Nomad 3, number 3 Nomad 4. That is just very strong from them.
Yeah, this team is really well-rounded, along with some huge upgrades. And as you mentioned before, in Lifeline and Skydive are going to make this team much more threatening in the aim department as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Indo can do this year. Super threatening team that I'm looking forward to seeing in the future. Let's move on into our top 8. Seed number 8, a team with one of the biggest on-paper upgrades we have seen in a while. It is Team United Kingdom. Bubbleman is back. A Qualifiers is here. And Easy Champ is bringing the reading to this team. Number 1 on Hidden.
That is absolutely crazy from UK. I thought you were going to talk about them more, but yeah, this UK team is back. They got some new blood, finally. A Qualifiers and Easy Champ doing so well in this qualifier. You see, looking at the overall performance scores, a Qualifiers was actually the 5th strongest player overall on just overall score per map. He got over 1 million on Nomad 1.
Yeah, he got top 5 out of the entirety of this entire map, so this entire qualifier, so you know a Qualifiers is going to be a giant threat for this UK team. Along with it just having some great newcomers coming back. Ophiz I'm looking forward to seeing, especially in the early stage. He's going to be a huge threat. Haunt coming to give UK that big bump up on the tech. Yeah, this UK has a huge roster. Fun fact, ladies and gentlemen, Bubbleman did not actually play the qualifiers. So imagine what the UK could be capable of with Bubbleman here. Bubbleman did not play the qualifiers. He did.
I thought he did. I watched his stream, dude. He did.
Wait, he did? Oh,
Bubbleman played this qualifier, bro.
Okay, I was told by several people that Bubbleman was not playing in the qualifiers. So I have just been trolled. I'm sorry, ladies.
You have been trolled, but yeah,
I got trolled, but still, this team is sick.
Yep, very strong upgrade for UK. Glad to see them finally back in contention. Yeah, now on to number 7. I think a team that has been very hyped, and I think everyone's going to expect to see them here. We've got number Australia, the country Australia at number 7. Another country that has just massively upgraded since last year. I think a team that desperately needed some new blood has finally got it. O/JGLF, Sayo, CS2, those 4 in particular, just really going to be giving this team the jolt that they need, I think, to finally convert on their extremely high aspirations when you have the best player to ever play this game.
Several incredible newcomers to come in for this Australian team, as you already mentioned. And not only that, a secret box is back for Australia after his hiatus. He's come back for this team, and good lord, is he an incredible player. I'm looking forward to seeing what Australia can do. Number 3 on Double Time, number 1 on Double Time 1, number 3 on Nomad 2. This team is a ginormous threat. And with Emrek around, you damn well know that star potential with the secret box, Doomy, and several other great newcomers are going to make this team extremely exciting to watch. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Australia can do at seed number 7. Let's move on to seed number 6, a decently surprising one on paper. I expected this team to place quite a bit higher, but it will be seed number 6 to be Team Germany.
Yep, Germany is back. You're seeing a lot of the usual suspects on this roster making a big return, such as Black Dog 5, formerly known as White Cat, and Kriller, who has come to be sort of that other star on this team. They're just doing that thing that they've been doing for so many years now, with a lot of newcomers as well. You see a very strong speed roster out of this team, once again getting number 5 on that DT2, but also surprisingly getting number 1 on the Hard Rock 1, so once again, Germany mechanics going to be very good, as usual.
Yeah, mechanics has always been Germany's bread and butter, and with newcomers like Yari and Akarinya, that's still not gonna change. Hard Rock and the Speedy DTs are some of their highest respective scores. Germany, so capable of just performing massively on Hard Rock and Double Time. Looking forward to what this team can do. Let's move on.
Wait. May I interject? Germany versus Canada, round of 16. Round of 16. Germany versus Canada.
Oh my god.
This is not meant to be this early. That is such a stupid matchup that you see when a team underperforms in qualifiers. But yeah, be on the lookout for that for sure. But now, on to number 5. We've got another team that has just been quickly on the up and up. It is the Philippines. Many years of growth has led to this. They have arguably the 3rd best tournament player in the world in Henry, with a lot of other players backing him up as well, like Nathan Ram, and the true Hyok coming back from military service is going to be a huge boost for this Filipino roster.
Yep, number 6 on every single mod set. This team could not be more clean and not more well-rounded. They've got some incredible players coming back. Finally, Henry and Hyuk are playing together on the same team. A dream coming true for this Filipino team and many Filipino fans watching at home. But generally, such a well-rounded roster. Impauster is a newcomer that I'm really excited to see. Nathan Ram has always been a great, consistent, well-rounded player for the Philippines. This team has got a huge glow-up. And with great mechanics players as well, like C620, also known as Milk Teaism, and Zone Louise, I cannot wait to see what this team can do. So hyped to see what the Philippines do this year. One of the biggest team glow-ups this year in 2023. Looking forward to seeing what they can do. Team number 4, seed number 4, another team that's had a ginormous glow-up. It is none other than Russia.
I was hyping them up so much on Full Circle, and people weren't giving me what I was saying for that. But look at Russia; they are so much stronger this year. I think they have a genuine, massive big three in Chaconi, Scrowel, and Welter, along with a lot of previous players coming back as well. And finally, Markram is playing for Russia. That is going to be so huge for their gimmick. But this is just a team, I think, as per usual with teams when you see this high, just so strong across the board. You can't really find a true weakness in this roster. As you can see, number 1 on DT3, which is not insignificant. That DT3 tested more skill sets than I think any single map in this pool. So it's going to be really tough to find a weakness when you're picking into this team.
What map to get number 1 better than the one that flexes the most skill sets? The biggest weakness of this team is just reading. Everything else is so even. And with the additional players like Scrowel and Welter, 2 stable tournament players for this team, along with just a general spread of phenomenal tournament players, as you mentioned, Markram as well. I'm so excited for what this Russian team can do. This year is one of Russia's biggest years yet. And looking forward to seeing what they can do at seed number 4. Now, before we switch, ladies and gentlemen, this next seeding is a bombshell. And I'm sure, as I say that, some of you may know which team this is going to be. Let's switch it to seed number 3 for the first time since 2019. For the first time since qualifiers has started, the USA will not get seed number 1 this year.
That's as crazy as he says. It's real. Every single year where there's been a qualifier, the United States has been the first seed, and this year that is not the case. But still, you have to expect this is the same powerhouse that you are all used to. Even though they are seeded at number 3, you have number 1 on multiple maps, number 1 Nomad team, and they're just as dynamic as ever, so you have to be careful when facing this team. You all know the drill, but still, it is just so crazy to me that they have not seeded at number 1. That is something that has almost been expected of them throughout the years, finally just faltering a little bit enough for 2 countries to get ahead of them.
Every single one of you watching knows all of these players, staple members of this US team, some great returning players as well. We have to talk about Vaxe coming back. One of the most legendary tournament players to ever exist is here once again for the US team in 2023. Rectagon as well has always been a fantastic player for this team. Taking a little bit of a break, I believe, from a ban. I'm not sure if he was in last year. I don't think he was. But having him back here is going to be phenomenal. Despite not having Fancy Lad, despite not having Decadent in for this team, which I know is a bit of a controversial decision from the United States this year, still, this team remains an absolute freakish powerhouse. Number 3 on 3 of the 4 Nomads, given the number 1 on Nomad overall, only 5th on Nomad 1, which honestly doesn't surprise me at all. This is one of the most gambly maps that you could go for in a qualifying map. Really hard to get number 1 on, but just overall, this team is absolutely phenomenal.
Do not sleep on Kama as well, folks. Mr. Cheeto Blast. If you're to look out for one newcomer on Team USA this year, it has to be him. As well as Window Life, you've got 2 very high potential players coming into this roster, along with Wuji as well on his skill set. Just absolute powerhouses, and they may not be number 1 seed, but if you sleep on this team, you're going to pay the price, like you always have. So definitely look forward to watching this team, but I think even more so, look forward to the 2 teams that managed to beat them on to seed number 2. We've got Team Poland.
It is going to be Poland. One of the best teams this year for sure. Once again, an even bigger upgrade from last year. Even then was a great upgrade. Of course, Malashevsky is the undisputed star of the show for this Polish team. One of the greatest tournament players of all time, one of the greatest tournament players of our era, probably the greatest tournament player of our era right now. And with an array of phenomenal players every single person here. I can't really point out individual names. I think Nahus is going to be a big up-and-comer for this team. Some newcomers like Kajabarvishka. I think that's how I pronounced it. I completely forgot how to pronounce the name. I'm sorry if I
better than I would have tried. That's better than I would have tried, Shiba.
Kajabarvishka. There you go. I do something like that. But still, great team overall. Waipan is there in Raffle. Rafis remains there. Mastash remains. And when this team gets number 1 on DTE and 3rd on all the other skill sets, God, this team is so well-rounded, Miles.
Yeah, the way I like to look at this team is this is the old guard of Poland and the new talent of Poland intertwining with the best of both worlds. You have Bartek, Mishny, and Rafis coming back for another year, along with Malashevsky, Nahus, and Mustache, who are probably their 3 highest potential tourney players this year, along with Waipan. But yeah, you all know what to look out for in looking at this Polish roster. They have arguably the strongest player in this tournament, so just be careful, please. This team is so freaking scary.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, with that, I think you all know who got number 1.
Oh,
One
yeah.
of the most anticipated rosters in this World Cup. The favorite to win it all for many people. It is Team South Korea taking number 1 in the qualifiers.
Yep, South Korea, after proving a lot of people wrong last year, making it to grand finals, beating the United States in the semis, they are now proving that this is their all-in push. This is the year for South Korea. I think if anyone were to ever be favored against the United States in OSU World Cup since 2015, it would have to be this South Korean roster right now. So much talent, Karcher and worst HR player, adding to what they did last year with the return of Flying Tuna, who's just been their all-time superstar, with other very strong players holding up the back like Amamiya Kokoro, Parisia, Spectre as well coming from the lower rankings. Like, they are just so unbelievable across every skill set, across every star rating, and you need to prepare against this team, no matter what. Like, this team is unbelievable.
This team has one of the greatest cores I've ever seen in an OS World Cup roster. And once we have to also mention, this is an OS World Cup first for a team that isn't the USA to get number 1 in qualifiers. So again, big congrats to South Korea for being the first team that isn't the USA ever to get number 1 in a qualifiers. Big congrats. That is a genuinely pretty big moment. So I could not be more happy for this team to finally get number 1 in quals, but a legendary roster that I cannot wait to see take the World Cup by storm. It is South Korea, your number 1 seed.
Going to be going up against Kazakhstan in the round of 32, so they're going to have their work cut out for them, but obviously got to believe in the boys. So yeah, now that is going to be it for our qualifiers seeding reveal showcase. We are now going to transition into our map pool showcase after a quick 5-minute break. So as always, I'm Miles, joined by Shiba, and I have to thank you all for watching and enjoy the map pool.
Take care, everyone.
So,
hello, people.
during this countdown, we decided, because we didn't really touch on this during the showcase, we were going to go into some individual player performances from the qualifier. So, definitely we have to note Malashevsky FC'd all 11 maps in the qualifier.
Yep. People, you have been pranked. We're still here. And we are going to talk about the results up until the countdown ends, and then we're going to be going into our Mapple Showcase. So you still got a little bit of us left to talk about our individual performers here. We have some good lists here, some good little people to talk with, along with the wonderful results here. So, Miles, why don't you introduce the people that we are going to be joined by just for this little 5 minutes?
So yeah, we're going to be introducing the map pool people. Firstly, Dada, joined by Chiv and Dio, and maybe Azer for the showcase.
Not Azer, sadly.
Not
He's
Azer.
streaming.
Not
No,
lucky.
Azer.
How are you
Yeah,
guys
welcome,
doing?
dudes.
Yeah, we're doing good. I think everybody got pleasantly or unpleasantly surprised by the OWC qualifier results, and even then, before that, there was a funny little Vaxi versus Intercamming match that was also quite popular. You guys probably should have seen that.
It's been a good day for Osu. Yeah, it's been a good day for anyone on Osu Twitch watching tournaments for sure. I've certainly had fun watching Malashevsky Enry earlier in the day as well. But we're here to talk about the World Cup. So we heard Malashevsky FC'd every map in the qualifiers for Team Poland, right? Still only second seed somehow. Let's talk about some of the other teams. What are some of the other fun stats you guys had been able to kind of pick out? Because at least I don't have access to the sheet results, so
All
I'm
right.
relying on you guys there a little bit.
I've got a good one. So Hyok, after his comeback, I know there were some questions about if he would be
Which Hyok?
the real Hyok. There were questions on if he would be in his prime form. He did get top 8 overall for players in the qualifier, so that Hyok is going to be a very strong asset for Team Philippines, I think, as expected.
Yeah, I think just another minor statistic here. Of course, the majority of the individual map number ones are going to be taken by players who have very high placements in their respective teams. But I'm telling you now, there are 2 really big outliers here. Number 1 on NoMod 1 is Thailand's Les Perry with a 99.94 FC on the NoMod 1, just barely getting number 1 for a team that just barely managed to qualify. So a great kind of outlying skill. It's good. It goes to show how unbelievably strong Les Perry is overall. Just one map of many that I'm sure he's going to perform really well on. And another one being DT2, number 1 by Norway's Nidarik. Again, a staple speed player. No surprises there. Unstoppable in the speed. One of the best tournament speed players, if not the best tournament speed player in the world. So great to see Nidarik put in Norway on that big speed map, getting number 1 on that. So yeah, those are probably the 2 individual outliers that I noticed, but what about you guys?
Do you want to talk about non-individual outliers? Do you want to look at the DT1 for a second?
I was just going to comment on that. There were
Go on.
4 double S's in this pool. 1 on Nomad 2, 2 on Nomad 3, and 1 on Hidden 2. Until you get to DT1, where the top 14 scores on the map were all double S's. 14 double S's on this map. Granted, there's not a single burst in the entire map, so I think it's definitely a lot easier to double S something like that than most of the other maps with, some kind of rhythm complexity. But wow, 14. Is that the most on any map in qualifiers
Yes,
ever?
ever.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, it
100%.
is.
For sure.
There's no way it's not. Yeah.
Maybe we should have put a triple there somewhere.
Could have been a
Just
triple.
one.
just
burst.
one. Just
One
like
burst would have cut almost
keep
all
them
of
on their
it.
toes.
Yeah, but I think it's time to wrap this up and transition into our map pool showcase. So me and Miles will be heading out, and our lovely map pool people will be taking over.
Yes, thank you,
See you
Shiva.
guys.
Thank you, Miles. And we're here for the round of 32 map pool showcase. Dada, Shiv, let's get into it. Kominami Yasuha 3355411 is
Numbers.
the 411 is the song name. Numbers, affectionately called. This is the Nomad 1 in the round of 32. Some variable BPM. Wait, 230 BPM. Guys, why is our Nomad 1 so high BPM in the round of 32? What's going on?
Wow.
It's partially because I had to time this for like a day because this map has a billion red lines, and also because we're killing Nomad 1. Sometimes, not every time, but we're killing Nomad 1. We're killing a lot of slots. We're little murderers, little manslaughterers. women's lauderers, people's lauderers. I don't know.
Yeah, bon voyage, everyone. We have our first number 1 here, and I know people are already saying, wow, this is so low SR for 6.5 stars. This map is a lot harder than it looks, and I think that people are going to underestimate the density approach you have here at 230 BPM, A on 9.4, so it's going to feel really uncomfortable to play with this fast aim aspect.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the most awkward Nomad ones that I've ever had the pleasure of playing. This is a very fun map. It's very different from your usual Nomad 1 aim map, obviously, since the slot doesn't really mean anything at this point. It's an aim map, definitely, but if you are a team that thrives on comfortable, stock standard farm aim, this is no longer your slot.
Yeah, sorry. For all the people saying, why is this Nomad 1? Well, because the first map in the Nomad pool. This is a return to form. A return to the original, the integral pool meta of like 2016, 2017. The first map in the Nomad pool, the first map in the showcase was your Nomad 1.
Yeah, it just happens to be the first map in the pool, and that's just how it is, you know? We're reflecting on how the pool will fluctuate based on the maps and customs we have each week. So before you guys have any comments, make sure to watch the full showcase because I think things will make more sense afterwards.
Yeah, as always, with pools that don't follow just a conventional slot format that's been really popular over the last couple of years, just judging the pool off of a few maps, or one map in this case, is not usually a good idea. Doesn't really give you the full picture, so.
Don't worry though. This isn't a necessarily conventional map, but there will be very conventional maps soon to follow, just not necessarily the slots you'd expect. Also, thank you to Matthew for providing this replay. He wanted to get at least one. He's a very valuable member of the test playing team. And thank you to Arsalan for being our Nomad 1 mapper this time around. It was a creative pick because neither me nor Chiv or Azer or anybody really had heard this song, and while some people liked it, some people didn't. I think Azer said something about chickens or something like that. But,
Sorry? Just a little bit of screeching for some reason, but that's okay. Mapper's choice at the end of the day. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy. I think this map is pretty fun for what it's supposed to do, and of course, there probably will be some conventional aim in the pool. As always, the purpose of this type of pool is to make it sure that everything feels fresh and different.
And fresh and different will be the form throughout this Nomad pool, that's for sure. Are You Still XXXS by Camellia is the Nomad 2. Second custom map of the pool, mapped by Riot1133. 234 BPM Nomad speed tech in this pool. Mostly speed, though. Mostly just speed.
Yeah. We're going to have some speed tech in for Nomad 2 this year, and this is going to be really burst heavy 240, or 235 actually. It's going to be a lot of tapping control, a lot of shred. So this is a 7.26 star map, but it's actually like 6.6 stars. It's just heavily buffed in SR, so we can ignore that for now.
This is my dogs barking in the middle of showcase moment. This happens every year, and I hate it every time. But yeah. How many of you could have expected techie, speedy Nomad 2? Not many at the start of this.
Yeah, there's this map is definitely not typical for the slot. Usually you would expect this, I guess in the OWC format it would have been in free mod last year, but no longer in free mod. This is somewhat similar to the Nomad 5s of old. Lots of finger control, lots of burst spam, a little bit of speed aim and awkward aim with some, as you can see there, 1/3 control. So lots of different things going on in this map, but as we've said, primarily bursts. And well, if you're not good on 234 BPM, you're going to have a pretty bad time with this one.
Yeah, this is just going to be, you know, whoever feels most comfortable on this. I think, honestly, the map feels pretty easy. You're going to see why the SR is buffed near the ending, but it's going to be kind of funny.
Also, funnily enough, the mapper for this, Riot1133, which, because of his name and his Discord name being just Riot, ended up giving us a little bit of trouble when Riot from Mexico tried to sign up. That was a funny little gaffe we had. But yeah, thank you. He did this map in a bit of short notice. I think he had a small kind of amount of time to actually do it because we had some trouble finding the right kind of map for this slot. But he ended up doing a fantastic job, and I'm really thankful for him just stepping up in such short notice. And also Jackson for the replay. Another amazing speed player from the US, always in that border between like the USB team and the USA team. So those are always the best playtesters because they're good and they're hungry. They wanna help, they wanna be involved in tournaments. So thank you to Jackson. He's also a very valuable member of our playtesting team.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of tapping. And oh, there's a 1/3 there. Good luck to whoever missed on that. But this will make sense with the rest of the pool. And yeah, as we get near into the final game where this is really things start to pick up in pace.
By the way, this particular song has a love map by Captain One. Do you remember what happens in the end of that love map, perchance?
You know, I feel like there's something I'm forgetting about the ending of that map, but maybe the ending of this map will remind us. I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like there's some kind of funny pattern I'm forgetting at the end of that map.
Where does the map get all the SR? Like, where does the map get all the SR?
I don't know, man. Okay.
Good luck on that one.
Yeah.
Hey, for all those that are struggling with being fast, you can always do the forbidden method. And
that's true.
That stream will accept it.
That's doable. All right, on to the No Mod 3. This is the third custom map for the pool, and it is on Junkie by Frederick. This is the alt-style collab by Zelk, and I want to say that's LECZ, but I don't remember which Ellie that is exactly, because I got baited last showcase as well.
Just call her Ellie. It's fine.
Ellie.
Yeah.
All right.
So, with this map, people are like, wow, finally a normal map in the pool. Oh, not quite exactly. So, what this map does that's a little special is that it's going to have a lot of reading in the Ki section where it's kind of this overlap stuff where you'll see later on where it's, you know, definitely a lot more difficult traditionally from your average Nomad 3 at this star rating.
Yeah, and something I'm really excited to see is that, first of all, this is our first normal slot for people who are keeping track at home, but also I'm excited to see people like enjoy this map because honestly this is a fantastic map. When this got done, I was so happy. I was smiling from cheek to cheek because honestly this is just a joy to play, and I feel like everyone will have a really fun time trying to play this map. It's pretty challenging, pretty nice to... It has some patterns that are challenging to read, some patterns that are challenging to snap, some patterns that are challenging to flow. And they all flow, and they all like play in such a very harmonious way. It's honestly really, really good.
Yeah, this is not a quote-unquote stock standard alt map. Yes, you got the aim control, yes, you've got the flow aim, but a lot of these patterns are really tricky with some of the overlaps and the way that they play, and being able to read them is a part of the challenge in and of itself. So a lot of players, myself included, sometimes struggle with maps like that, but it does make for a much more interesting gameplay experience, and it is very fun to play when you start to get the patterns down and you can actually hit a lot of these really interesting and fun to play patterns in the map. It's a very good map. Ellie and Zelk popped off on this.
Well, firstly, this is a collab between Aliens and Zelk. But secondly, also, for people who have seen some other Shoko streams, they'll know what I'm about to call this. This is going to be some really intuitive rhythm. You kind of have these stop and go type of patterns, which make this map really satisfying to play, but also add that extra layer of artificial difficulty and that pattern. Ooh, that's a catch for sure, but gonna have the back and forth there.
Yeah, be careful in the solo. There's a bit more reading and definitely a little bit of a snappy spike with that back and forth. But you know, it fits the song very nicely, and it's cool. I just can't stop smiling at this map, man. It's such a cool map. Also, another mandatory thanks to Suwagi for while he was too busy to play OWC, he still is putting in a lot of work doing the replays.
He
did
came and
some for the
poked on so many replays this year, so it's so awesome.
So big thanks to Suwagi. Really just a big homie in replays. Yeah.
And yeah, it's gonna be not much just to say. Yeah, you kind of said enough. Okay.
Said enough. Seen the map. It is time for the next map in the Nomad pool.
Just
Nomad
very
4.
rig it-
Nomad
rig it
4.
for the Philippines, apparently.
Some rigged pooling, some
Yes.
rigged pooling. But this is kind of a 20 core classic for people who don't know. It's rolling beats.
Rolling Beat by Mitsukiyo. This is the Osu Philippines collab expert diff. Kind of a hybrid flow and slider tech sort of tech map. Very familiar to those who've been playing tech for a long time. Maybe a little unfamiliar to those who are newer to the game and have only seen a lot of the more modern slider maps.
I'm gonna be honest. What's up?
So, for those who are familiar with the source for this song, you might be like sobbing quietly in the chat. But yeah, Mitsukiyo, always a very nice artist. I believe he's featured as well. But and this is a very conventional kind of tech map. It has a little bit of slider aim, a little bit of slider aim, a little bit of flow, a little bit of like cut streams. It's very well rounded.
Yeah, it's gonna be just a pretty generalist tag map. I want to say this is probably one of the easiest maps in the pool, but still definitely parts that people can get caught out on. And I feel like it's still pretty satisfying to play with these, you know, slider tech and flow tech fusion.
I did not realize how many people. Okay, I don't want to talk about it. Thank you for the replay, Miles, the commentator who was doing the qualifier results. Very nice. Some of you might know him shaking a lot.
Hey, he's here.
Oh, he's here. Hi.
All right.
Yeah, it's just a nice map. This map exists, but this is not a custom. This map is already ranked. It's been ranked for a while. And as Chip said, it's a tourney core classic. A lot of tourneys use this as kind of a either mid-round or introductory tech pick, depending on the range they're going for. And just thought it fit in nicely for the skill sets we needed. And maybe it's a little bit on the easier side, maybe it's not. Who knows?
I think even with that, the nature of tech maps always makes it, I think, a little bit more tricky than it otherwise would be for any tech map. And you know, it's gonna fit in very well, I think. That is gonna do it for the Nomad pool, and that will bring us to the hidden one, but it's not any ordinary hidden one. This is the first truly special map of the OS World Cup 2023 and the first OS original of the OS World Cup 2023. The hidden one, let's take a listen. And that is the first OS original of the OS World Cup 2023, Darkness Parade by Cygnus, made for the World Cup this year. And also the AR8 hidden in this pool. AR8 in Hidden 1 slots are indeed dead, as the pinned message in chat has said. So,
to be fair now, that one wasn't our fault. That one was asked by the review people to swap it around. But you might know Cygnus as Matrix. So if you know Matrix, the player, old HRDT legend, he is Cygnus, and he makes music, and we're excited to have him make an original song for us. It's really just amazing to work with old legends of the game, and yeah, very AR8 map, very very flowy, very streamy. Anything you'd like to add, Chiv?
Yeah, two things. Firstly, thank you to Pishifat for making all of these FA customs possible. Really shout out to him. And secondly, thank you to the background artist as well, who is going to be called Sun Goku. Not the Polish player, but Sun Space Goku on Osu. So thank you guys so much for making it happen. And of course, yeah, we'll be going on to Hidden 2, I think.
Yeah, and this is another one where we can't just move on to the map. There does need to be a little bit of an introduction. It's not an Osu original, but it is something just as special. The Hidden 2 for this round, Koala by Will Stetson. And this is also the featured artist reveal for Will Stetson. He is finally an FA on Osu.
Yeah, and this is going to be the breaking out. We have an AR9 awkward aim map, pure jumps, and this is what we have in store.
Yeah, Will Stetson, of course, very well known by pretty much everybody in the OS community, both as a player originally and then as a song artist within the last few years at this point. It's been a long time since he's transitioned primarily to making music, and very popular covers at that online. And he is a homegrown talent from the OS community, so it is fantastic to finally have him on board the featured artist team. And this map is also a very good introduction, I think, to the featured artist listing. This song, however, is a custom, so it will not be on his featured artist listing. Only his originals are going to be on the featured artist listing, if I have that right.
This is an original.
This is an original, so this should be on there as well. But this is a, yeah, as we said, awkward aim, AR9, Hidden 1. Very, very Lucent core, mapped by Lucent.
Yeah. So, yeah, shout out to Lucent for mapping, and if you guys already don't know, you guys can already see the contrast between this and the previous Hidden 1, as well as Noma 1. You have these 230 BPM, high BPM jumps to Noma 1, and a flow Hidden 1 to pair with this, awkward aim, low BPM Hidden 2, which really make, things work together.
Yeah, it's very, not awkward aim, I'd say, but the Kawari Qualifiers map, where it has a couple linears, a couple of more wide-angle patterns. I'd say it's in that range where it's still very normal aim, but it has a little bit of that awkwardness still in it. So very, very nice. Very, very nice song as well. Thank you, Will Stetson. It's been, I'd like to say, long overdue, but Will Stetson is finally here as a featured artist. So all of you who have been jamming out to his songs for, well, 4 or 5 years now?
It's been a long time, yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy him in the featured artist library.
Yeah. Well, this is just going to be just overall chill map. Not much else to really say. You can see Tuagi just single tapping this entire map pretty much, besides these huge triples. Honestly, also one of probably the easier maps in the pool. I think this is around, I want to say 6.4 stars, 6.5 stars, that's how.
You think this is easy, but this is very, very easy to miss.
It's true, it's true. AR9 Hidden.
Yeah, even if a lot of these jumps are still largely pretty comfortable, like the Kawari Qualifier Nomad one, the fact that it's AR9 with Hidden makes it that much more difficult, even in spite of the relative comfort compared to some other awkward aim picks like the Nomad one in this pool, for example.
Yeah, not much else to really say, I think. Just chilling, enjoying the song, enjoying the map. Thank you guys once again for making this happen, to all the people on the team.
And once again, we are super happy to have Will Stetson on the featured artist listing as of today. So go and check out his music. If you somehow haven't already given Will Stetson's music a listen, please go do so in the FA listing. And of course, that makes mapping Will Stetson songs that much easier with the pre-timed OSZs and everything that comes along with being a featured artist. So go check those out. And for now, we can move on to our next map in the pool. It's the start of the Hard Rock pool, and it's Fair Wind by Akatsuki Fuka, Serio, and XSRS's Extreme Diff. This is a long ago ranked map.
It's No Mod 1! Oh my god, it's No Mod 1. Everyone can be calm. We have some anime in the pool. Thank you to Wixinator for the replay. And for all those AIM Demon fans out there, this is what we had them out there to Some AIM by Cryo.
This is, Cryo in X-Series business. Very old school mappers. People that played the game around 2013, 2014. This was in, like, up their wheelhouse, man. It's a very nostalgic pick, and it's not necessarily a very new map, not a very original map, but I think everyone who's ever played a tournament and seen a map that they recognize and they know that they'll be comfortable playing and comfortable, like, just having a fun time. Like, this is what this is, and I can speak for a lot of people when I say that it's always nice to have at least one of these in the pool.
It's the vibe. Shout out to Czech Republic.
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry, what? Say that again.
Real ones will understand. Like, real ones will get it. Real ones will actually get it. Like, respect the bloodbursting and respect the Steam gift card.
All right, well, nobody else knows what Chiv is talking about right now, so I guess we'll move on.
That's the equivalent of throwing gang signs in, like, a live broadcast.
That's old 4WC lore, by the way. Old 4WC lore.
Old 4WC lore. But yeah, I mean, not much just to really talk about, right? It's just AIM. Like, there are some streams, but the streams are not the hard part of this map. Like, at the end of the day, it's just AIM, and that's pretty much there is to it.
Yeah. This map exists. This map is already ranked. It's been ranked for a billion years, but it's from an anime, or the song is from an anime called Fuka, I think. And for all of you anime lovers out there, I think this will please you while not being extremely denpa, like squeaky vocals type of thing. So I think this is a happy medium for both anime lovers and anime haters.
Yeah, this is also very, very emblematic of the type of AIM maps that you used to find around the era that this was ranked. You know, not completely just brain dead back and forth 1-2 jumps, but lots of other types of patterns in this map as well. Slider jumps, linear jumps, tons of streams mixed in as well. So it's primarily AIM consistency, but it's not something where you can just kind of turn your brain off and fling your cursor across the screen, right? There is other things to pay attention to in this map.
Yeah. I think it'll be a pretty good pick for most teams that really have this inconsistency.
There's a surprising amount of 1-4 as well. So not only in the solo, like we're gonna see right now, but in a lot of parts of the pool, there's a little bit of 1-3 here. Like, this is a surprisingly well-rounded map for what you'd expect from your normal, you know, oh hey, I see anime in the pool, I know what it's gonna be like. That kind of deal. So yeah.
Not too much else to say. 4-minute, 190 BPM AIM consistency, anime, hard rock consistency for this pool. It's even CS 5.2. You get the exact circle size you always want from Hard Rock 1. So, with that, we get yet another Hard Rock 2. And this is going to be a Precision Hard Rock 2. It's Nelv by Silent Room.
Yeah, and we're going to have what I want to call flow precision tech. A lot of finger control, a lot of reading. And this really contrasts with the Hard Rock 1, you know, having a lot more tapping difficulty in my eyes, as well as slider control. So kind of is a secondary tech pick to the pool on precision.
Yeah, by the way, this map already exists. It's not a custom. So all of you who have words to say about Too Many Customs, this map is for you. And this map is also a song from a featured artist, I believe. Silent Room is a featured artist, and Nelvis in the listing, I believe. I hope.
Yeah. Guys, make sure to say happy birthday to the replayer because it is Sari's birthday today. So
Happy
feel free to say that in the
birthday,
chat. Happy birthday to Sari.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
what else to say really.
I
This is a shorter
mean,
map.
much shorter
No.
map. CS 6.5, obviously lower star rating because it's a tech map. A lot of pretty high velocity repeat sliders. You do have to follow a little bit. They're almost like the Gaucho sliders where you just have to kind of very quickly move back and forth and then continue on with your day through the rest of the map for a lot of these repeat sliders.
I'm just vibing to the song, man. I really like this.
Dude,
It's a
Nelvis,
popular
like,
song to map.
It is.
therapeutic, man. It's good.
Especially this part right here.
I would say this is on the harder side of the pool. I feel like although it's really low star rating, kind of again similar to other maps in the qualifiers pool, this map does a lot. And if you don't have all these skill sets like flow, tapping, no BPM tapping control, and also precision, like it'll be a struggle. Plus also on AR10, OD10.
Also, let's just no flame here to all the star rating people, but precision is a specific skill set that's very, very nerfed in the current star rating system. So a lot of the precision picks are going to be lower star rating than they might, you know, feel like. But, you know, that's not a discussion for here.
What is a discussion for here after we get through this very, very long spinner at the end of the map. Spin to win maybe can happen on this map. Look out for it during the broadcasts. What is a point of discussion is our next custom map in the pool, Kobarezu no Negai Goto by Senya, mapped by Satellite. We got Satellite Senya once again for the OWC pools.
Guys, I hear you like Senya maps. So, yeah. It's the Satellite. We brought Satellite here.
DT1 is Senya by Satellite? I'm a guess. What?
Damn, you remember
Well,
how we
we
killed
did.
slots? Damn, I guess they're back. Damn. Slot pooling got hands.
Some slots gotta come back. Remember that when we say we kill slot pooling, that doesn't mean that everything is going to be forcefully feeling different. It just literally means like, you know, whatever works for the pool will work with. Sometimes, you know, slots just work out this way, and this is one of the examples, you know? Slot, like the pool had a good like room for like a DT1. That was all. It's not to be quirky, it's to have the best pool possible.
Yeah, this is unlike a lot of Senya maps, I think this is more focused towards aim side. It has a couple triples, unlike everyone's favorite DT1 in qualifiers. But it has bursts as well, streams, all of the above. But it's much more focused towards the aim side. So 1,200,001 point replay by Jackson, so I guess you
Where
can
do you get
guess
the 1
his
point
act.
from?
Rounding and, you know, eating his vitamins in the morning.
Congratulations.
Yeah, not a lot to say about this map. I mean, it's Satellite Senya DT. There's only so much you can say about it before repeating what people have said about so many Satellite Senya DT maps in the past. Satellite, by and large, the mapper who popularized mapping Senya DT maps in this game. So this is a certified Osu classic, certified hood classic, as it were.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Satellite is named after the Dojin circle that Senya used to be a part of, which is Yuhei Satellite, I believe. So, yeah, the guy knows what he likes to map, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And that's gonna be DT1. Yeah, kind of rounding out that gap between both tapping and aim in the pool.
How's the weather?
You ready for DT2? I know you're ready for DT2. Actually, I know you're
Oh,
ready.
I've been preparing a year for this, like over a year.
Speech coming in close right now.
All right, Dada, you got it.
Listen, last time in round of 32, I killed this map. I shot it with a 9mm Beretta and it died because the pool needed it. But when the pool, this year's pool, when it needed it the most, it came back from the dead, from the literal graveyard, because that's what it's called when a map doesn't get updated for 30 days. And it's back. This is a quote-unquote reject from last year.
Yeah,
where
this map does a lot.
It's a lot of finger control, it's a lot of stamina, it's bursts, 9 notes, doubles, flow aim, it's all that stuff, all that nice stuff. People love DT2s, they love that, I guess, or they don't, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of hard commentating over your own map because simultaneously I don't want to say it's good because I feel like I feel braggadocious, but I don't want to say it's bad because I mapped it.
But yeah, this is just another tapping focused map. One of the 3 tapping picks I would say in this pool. Maybe counting 4 if you count DT1. Obviously there's going to be 1 tapping map coming up left, because 1 Scuzzler has not been touched on, and was also a bit missing from the qualifiers pool. But I think people know what I'm kind of alluding towards too.
Yeah, sometimes we got some feedback from people saying, hey, there's not enough like speed in this qualifier pool. I think the speed is way too broadly distributed. There's not enough speed in the actual speed maps. The highest BPM map didn't have any triples, so I guess we ought to fix that in a bit.
For sure. But yeah, makes it a great map. How long did it take you to make this one? Do you remember?
A year.
That's true.
I've been making it since 2022. But no, this took like I'll say 15 days from start to finish, but it's obviously not non-stop work, obviously. It's just the time frame.
Well, we'll get to see the map that you're talking about, the foretold speed map potentially for our double time 3.
Drumroll, please.
We love
It's Wall by Enter Shikari.
It's gonna be the Piroshki diff, so there's gonna be some AR. I think it's like 8.8 to 10.2, and burst speed at 260 BPM.
Yeah, this is a map that exists. It's already ranked. It's already been ranked for I think a year. I want to say it's a nice map. It plays kind of like a D&B map, even though this song is very different, obviously, in genre. But it's a lot of bursts, a lot of quints, a lot of kind of, I don't want to say filler rhythm, but it's just following the drum line. Alright, this is 2 minutes and something. If this is too long, then I'm sorry. The tiebreaker is going to be twice this length.
Come on, it's OWC. How are we complaining about map length? Like,
it's like a best of 9.
One match. Like, come on, man.
We're gonna 5-0 whoever you're facing. You're the USA. Like, congrats.
Can you stop copying me?
And even then, I think even in a lot of the longer matches, it's still best of 9, so it's not even going to go the full hour for most of the... even a lot of the tiebreaker matches, I think, are not going to go the full hour. Match just isn't big enough yet to go a full hour.
Hey, this song is nice.
Smile.
I do like this song. What, the first English rock song of the whole map pool? Not sure if Not sure if we're counting Koala among that.
I don't
honestly.
think it's rock.
I mean, okay, second English song. I don't know what else you would call this genre. I'm not the music genre guy. All right.
I mean, this is rock, but not Koala.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is this would be the first English rock song in the pool?
But hey. That's,
Okay, this is
that's
some shred.
a game. Let's go on.
They have an aim map at the end, actually, to be honest.
Dead air is always funny to fill.
Just random hit sound.
Thank you to Jackson for the replay. Again, the speed demon of our playtesting team. You might know the Steam Happy emote.
We need to Steam Happy.
We like that.
Can we
Anybody
get
else?
Steam Happy in chat somehow? Can we get that for OWC?
Is anybody else Steam Happy today?
Very Steam Happy. Very Steam Happy indeed.
Yeah.
I'm
On
Steam
to
Happy because we get the free
Fremod
mod pool. We get this free mod 1.
Oh!
This is not what I think a lot of people expect when you hear free mod 1. It's anti the Euphoria Holic by Storyteller
Wait.
featuring Aya and Kagamine Rin.
Streams! Oh my
It's a
god.
flow aim stream map too.
The
They're
flow aim has been
back.
found. The flow aim has been found from the qualifiers pool, and it's in this map.
They're back!
Yeah.
Oh my god!
So it's gonna be some. It's on free mod, so yeah, some hidden and hard rock being applied to this, but overall, definitely harder. I would say on mods compared to no mod for sure. And yeah, there's gonna be probably no stamina involved. Some streams.
Yeah, this is too low BPM to be really stamina, unless you're special, in which case you probably shouldn't even be playing this map, but
I am.
yeah. Let me give you some deep lore about this. This used to be Nomachu. This is one of the reasons why we had a Nomachu being like a speed map, is this used to be Nomachu, people found it too easy in Nomad. So we ended up moving it to free mod. It kind of fit naturally there, just as a flow aim test, and
Just stay there.
yeah, it's kind of balanced. It's obviously harder on hard rock because just the lower circle size with the space streams just makes it harder. It's not free on hidden either, but it's nice. And not much you ended up being a speed map to compensate for that.
Yeah, this map is AR 9.6 and CS4, so as you said, I think definitely a little harder on hard rock with the increased circle size, doing quite a lot to spike the difficulty of the map. But a flow aim hidden is always hard, and you also have to deal with some of those 1/6 bursts in this map, some of the finger control there, along with a lot of 1/3 sections. This map is color hacked though, so if you do happen to play with custom combo colors enabled, you can maybe use those to help you out if you're playing with hidden.
Yeah, and I think I've seen people already kind of getting the theory behind this right now. It really meshes well with the other picks in the pool. Not the hidden flow aim obviously being restricted to ARA in that mod pool, but you have flow aim here, and same with hard rock being restricted to precision. Having a dedicated pick here works out really well. But you still got your no mod streams if you want to play them instead.
Yeah, if your team allows you to, because sometimes you just have to take one for the team, and we feel that sometimes long gone are the days of the guy who would take the mods and just like really do badly because he was like tanking all the mods for the team. Now you have to have at least 2 people with mods, which is interesting. It took away a little bit of that like old strategy, but it also added a lot more with over modding and just having to have a hard rock there. It adds a little bit more of that game theory into just free mods in general, which is nice. Sadly, you cannot easy still. We might change that next year, who knows. But no easies allowed, and no flashlights allowed either, I think. So
Be surprised to see anybody bust out the flashlight for WC.
yeah,
Yeah.
There might be one guy. I'm looking at a
We're gonna Team
particular...
Norway right now. I don't
yeah.
know.
I'm looking at someone who got banned last year, maybe.
But yeah, as the map rounds out, I think people can already see there's also a little bit of finger control in this map. Kind of these 1/6 bursts are kind of scattered throughout it. and don't feel too disruptive, as well as just kind of some rhythm sections as well. So yeah, besides your flow, you have a bit of finger control, but shouldn't feel too draining on the stamina still.
Yeah, this is really just all, for the most part, flow aim. There's not a lot else to the pick. There are the 1/3s. There's a handful of 1/6, but even the 1/3s are very flow aim heavy in them of themselves, rather than control heavy. Ending's a little hard.
Also, be careful here. that red burst there is a 1/6 burst. I've seen more than enough people miss on that.
Yeah.
Let's go by Sorry.
Nice score by Sorry, and that brings us to our second free mod pick, and yet another custom map in this pool, Sentega Lima by Sore by Scub Domino. This is the anti-mod free mod pick, quote unquote.
This is my favorite pick in the pool.
This map's really cool.
This is gonna be
Kim
some...
has been bumping this on Spotify.
Dude, this is awesome. Like, this is a slider anti-mod, so control precision on CS5 ARA, and it just feels so good to play. I think people really enjoyed picking this. It's a really good map by Scub, and the song is also really good.
Yeah, it's a swingy map. It has some very odd rhythms. It kind of, on Hidden, it's very, very hard to read, and on Hard Rock, it's very, very hard to act, because the rhythm is just like slow, and sometimes it just like stops for a little bit. It goes with the song. It's very, very swingy. Like kind of like I hate to compare it, but it's like kind of a Drunken Master kind of feel, where you have like a you go with the slider and then you stop, and then you go again, and then you double, and then you stop, and then you go again. Maybe I'm just yapping. Who knows?
I think I think it makes sense. It's a very I almost feel like calling it unconventional anti-mod, because you don't see a lot of like almost like timing focused or rhythm focused anti-mod picks on CS5 AR 8.5 in this case, and it makes it really difficult to read on Hidden with a lot of the timing differences, and obviously the aim control on Hard Rock is very, very difficult.
Yeah, and what's crazy about this is that someone is gonna have to bite the bullet. Someone is gonna have to either play the Hard Rock and get Weird Act, or play the Hidden, and this map is so missable on Hidden, man. It's unbelievable.
For sure. And yeah, shout out to Nanawolf for the replay.
Yeah, and just repeating, this is AR 8.5 no mod, so it is still low AR Hidden, but not quite AR 8 Hidden, and I think it actually still feels balanced, even in spite of the standard, quote-unquote, being AR 8 CS5. This is AR 8.5 CS5. I think it still is completely fine like that, because these sorts of patterns on Hidden are just, like Dada said, very, very missable. So easy to just miss on what feels like nothing.
Also, I believe we're gonna have a little bit of a difficulty spike on the... I don't even want to call it
the
solo.
Solo, yeah.
Yeah.
The intense part of the song.
Right here.
And yeah, shout out to Nano or Violent for the replay.
Shout out to Scub Domino also for the really like weird song suggestion that ended up being a super banger, and also just the really fun map. I think this map is going to catch a lot of people off guard when you play it, because it really doesn't feel like the kind of map you would enjoy if you're like a conventional player, but it's extremely fun, it's extremely intuitive, and I think it's a great entry point for anyone who wants to get into this kind of style of mapping.
I feel like Scub Domino does a lot of those types of maps when it comes to tournament, right? Stuff that's doesn't really fit what you would conventionally put in a tournament slot, but ends up being kind of unique and really enjoyable in the slot regardless. Kind of a testament to how well he can do some of these tournament customs. I think this map is a pretty good example of that. Not usually what you see in the slot, but still does the same job effectively that you would want it to, and plays really fun, great song.
Alright, guys. It's
I saw
almost...
somebody, it's almost at the end.
Yeah, no,
Almost.
I can tell you right now, this is the last 4-minute map in the pool. Every other map will not be 4 minutes.
Not sure about that.
No, every other map will definitely not be within
That's
4
true.
minutes and 0 seconds to 4 minutes and 59 seconds.
Oh, I get it. No. Also, no more 5-minute
Yeah.
maps either.
Yeah, true.
No, that's true.
Damn.
That's true.
New meta for tiebreaker this year as well. Hope you guys enjoy. Anyways,
Yeah,
on to 3mod3. I
Yep.
saw somebody talking about no ult. Have some more ult. And snap out at that.
Also, yeah, speaking of timing, this is the second map in this pool that I've spent at least a day timing.
Yeah, look at that. 105 to 157, 132 in parentheses. So very, very difficult map to time. Lots of timing changes in this one, but it came out really well. I think this map's really fun to play. From the time that I did spend playtesting this, it was really enjoyable as an alt pick. And I think a good contrast to the Nomad 3, where I felt like I had to really practice a lot to get down some of the patterns. This one felt very comfortable right from the get-go, but is still mechanically really difficult, especially with mods. It's Dance You Matilda by Ali, mapped by Mordred for the round of 32.
Yeah. This is probably one of the best songs in the pool as well. Pretty fire. But yeah, you have these like kind of like cut doubles into just overall aim control on ult. Definitely feels a lot different than Nomad 3 to play.
Yeah. This one also, of course, AR 9.2 OD9, so a lot lower approach rate on Hidden than something like the free mod 1. It does make it quite dense with Hidden on, given that it's a lot of 1-4 patterning, so much higher object density than just an aim map in free mod, for example.
Cut the replay. Cut the replay. He can't smoke me out in the middle of the showcase.
Oh my god.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, now you're gonna see something you might not expect from what you've heard this far.
Some
Vocal jump scare. Yeah, AB is playing this on Hidden. Obviously, when you play this on Hard Rock, you're going to have a little bit harder time acting because this is variable timing, but also you're going to have a lot better of a time actually reading the circles because this is very, very dense on Hidden and on Hard.
You kind of have this cool section coming up as well. The interesting parts of this map, I think. Kind of these like side of patterns. I don't even know how to describe them.
Kind of remind me of following his Genryu Kaiko a little bit with like the uppers and downward sliders. Obviously, it's very different, but it's what my mind
I
jumps
think
to.
People have already seen these like 5-note star patterns and these cross-screen like low BPM jumps really add a lot of depth to this pool, I think. Kind of got
Yes.
everything, right? Alt tech, aim, streams. It still feels pretty balanced overall.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point, is foregoing a lot of the slots, but still keeping it balanced. No normal aim map in free mod. Lots of different stuff going on in the Nomad pool, but overall still keeping the same general amount of skills throughout the pool.
We do have to mention thank you for Gaby, or thank you to Gaby for the replay, and thank you to Mordred for mapping the really, really cool map and taking a day off my life for making
you
to make me
tiebreaker?
time.
And
Okay.
I mean, tournament players will know this map for sure. It's a bit of a classic. Versus 21st.
Yeah,
Where's all
mapped
the other
by
20?
a mega fan. This is already a ranked map. A song by Likma and Locktech. 200 BPM. General, well-rounded sort of map. A lot of bursts, a lot of jumps, a little bit of tech, a little bit of ult, a little bit of everything, but very good overall test of mechanics and a couple of other skill sets in this map.
Yeah, this is a already ranked map by Mega Fan. I believe this was a custom for some tournament. I don't know it off the top of my head, but you know, here in OWC, when it's a good custom and it's not used in a popular tournament, we have to give it the light of day, right? We have to make it see a wider audience, and this map deserves just that. It's a very, very fun map, very balanced, very I'd say like frantic would be a good word. Like it doesn't really stop. And yeah, just really nice.
Yeah, this was originally a custom map by MegaFan for Clover Cup in quarterfinals. That was a tournament back in fall of 2021, or summer of 2021, excuse me, that used a 3 tiebreaker system, and this was the second tiebreaker of the tournament in that round. So honestly, I think a very well-rounded map for what you would usually expect out of a 3 tiebreaker system, and I think it finds a pretty good home here in the round of 32 in OWC this year. Just with, obviously in the first quarter, lots of bursts, lots of aim mechanics, and then you start to get into this tech section right here, and this is where the map switches up on you.
Yeah. It's kind of this multi-skill set feeling
Yeah.
is what we were really going for the tiebreaker here.
Also for, you might not expect this, but for this mapper specifically, MegaFan, he does a lot of tech stuff, like, not with what you'd call, like, you know, the modern tech sliders. It has a little bit more of, like, a clean feel to it, so even people who are a little bit turned off by, like, normal slider tech can still enjoy this a little bit more.
Hope you guys are ready for the Moi Calio cameo next week. New featured artist on the block, actually.
Yo, what's up, deadbeats? That's a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke. We are joking.
You're joking.
Cut his mic. Cut his mic.
Cut his mic. Cut him off. Cut him off. He's spoiling the new originals.
Executive message from the producer: for legal reasons, this is a joke.
This is a joke. This is a joke.
Yeah, no, we have to talk about tiebreakers for the next 3 minutes, which is...
Yeah, talking about tiebreaker for 6 minutes is often difficult because we've kind of said everything that needs to be said about this map, I feel like. It's a tech mechanics hybrid map that operates in sections with a lot of tech sections and then mechanics sections. It's got flow aim, it's got jump aim, it's got awkward aim, it's got slider aim, it's got tech streams, it's got finger control, it's got buzz sliders. I mean, like...
Everything, man.
Yeah, what else do you say? I think the one thing we haven't seen in this map really is alt. I don't really feel... I don't remember, but I don't think this map really has a
This map does not
dedicated
have
alt
alt.
section at all.
it
Yeah,
doesn't
so...
have- yeah.
I don't know, we got like 3
So-
minutes, guys. What's up?
Do you like this background? I think
I've already
this background is very aesthetic.
I've got 5 DMs saying this pool is all alt, and 5 DMs saying this pool is all speed and all flow.
Dude, that's crazy, man.
Cool,
It's
just
almost
all
like people
everything.
have different opinions. Sometimes...
No tech, though. No tech.
Sometimes you do have to understand you're wrong, and we have to understand you're wrong as well. Like, I have to say this in, like, a very earnest fashion. For the qualifiers pool, we'd had some balancing mistakes. Looking back on it, in hindsight, DT1 probably a little bit too easy. We shouldn't have nerfed it. It was a nerf map from previews, and we probably shouldn't have nerfed it. Or
See,
Hard Rock 1, we
One
should
guy
have
in
maybe
Twitch has saying... Sorry.
went a little bit more ham. One guy in Twitch chat. What? We're getting one guy. Who
He's
is it?
saying DT2 is not speed, and another guy's saying Noma 1 is speed. Like, what?
They're like the same BPM. They're like 10 BPM apart.
How is Noma 1 speed but DT2 is not speed?
Well, I
Oh,
see a
it's an interesting
BPM
one.
number.
Wow.
I see,
That-
if a
the
BPM
BPM
number is
is
over
ready.
225, it means it's speed. If it's below
I get that.
225, it means it's not speed. So that's totally not defined by the amount of BPM I can stream reliably. Anyway, while this tiebreaker wraps up, I hope you guys enjoyed the showcase. A little bit of a longer pool, but best of 9 and shorter matches kind of
Come on,
allow
it's the
that
biggest
to happen.
tournament. It's the biggest tournament of the year. We gotta be able to sit for another 10 minutes on our PC. And yeah, it's gonna be tiebreaker. Alright, well, hope you guys enjoy it. As always, feel free to type in the feedback channel why I should lose rights to my first child. And see you guys next week.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next week. Oh my god.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Wow.
Steam happy.